It's one of the biggest days in the New South Wales Premier Cricket calendar. Welcome to University Oval for the final of the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. We have history on offer here this afternoon. The visiting Randwick Petersham side can become the first club in New South Wales Premier Cricket history to be four-time champs, while the home side, Sydney University, who have walked the tightrope of the final series, having finished as minor premiers in the Thunder Conference, looking for their first ever triumph. Andrew Menzel is down in the middle, and he has both the captains, Tim Cummins, the skipper of Sydney University, and returning Sydney Thunder player Jason Sanger, who is the skipper of Randwick Petersham, and he's going to tell us which way the coin falls.
Yes. Alrighty, I'm here with the Randwick Petersham skipper, Jason Sanger. Jason, you've won the toss and elected to bat. What was the thinking there?
I think just runs on the board in the final. It's a lovely surface. Could go either way, especially in T20 cricket, whether you're chasing or you're defending. Yeah, I just thought we'll have a bat. I'm a batter, so I like to bat.
Yeah, you must be really pleased the way the team's gone in your absence. A big win in the semi-final and now playing in another final.
Yeah, look, it's been fantastic. The boys have been stepping up this year. Obviously, myself and Daniel haven't been around as much this year, but yeah, so it's given a lot of opportunities to some of the other younger guys. But yeah, to have myself and Samsy back, we're very excited every time we get to play club cricket, and I'm sure Sydney Uni the same with guys like Larkin and Hayden Kerr coming back as well. So yeah, the boys are pumped. It's going to be a great day.
Well, enjoy. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, now the Sydney University skipper Tim Cummins is coming over. Tim, any changes from the last lineup?
Yep, we've got Kieran Tate coming back in for Max Hope, and we've got Hayden Kerr coming back as well from BBL.
Hayden comes in with a bit of good form.
Yeah, no, he's been doing nicely, so we're really happy for him, and yeah, hopefully he can translate that into today.
And what's the feeling within the team after the exciting win in the semi-final?
Yeah, I think whenever you keep on winning, everyone's pretty pumped. So yeah, very excited for today, and looking forward to it.
Best of luck.
Thanks, Manners. Cheers.
Well, that's the action from down in the middle here. Randwick Petersham have won the toss and elected to bat. Back to you, Jack Clifton.
Can we get a selfie?
Hmm?
Can I get a selfie?
Yeah.
Come on, get in, G. Thank you for that, Andrew Menos out there a little bit earlier this afternoon to get the coin toss there. As you would have heard, Jason Sanger calling correctly, and it's Randwick Petersham who will get first opportunity on what looks to be a very good, a very flat, a very dry University Oval pitch here this afternoon. These two sides have had, I guess, very differing paths to the final today. Randwick Petersham have walked the tightrope, some would say, with a conference semi-final last over win against St George, and then the conference final looked all at sea, 3 for 11 in pursuit of 167 against the University of New South Wales, and Adam Semple, he was the man of the moment with an unbeaten 100 from just 54 balls. And Andrew Menzel and myself were here at University Oval just 10 days ago when Sydney University chased down in excess of 190, so it really was an impressive performance by all of those players that were involved in that contest there. Andrew Menzel has made his way back up to the commentary position, having been down in the middle, speaking to both of the two captains. And Menas, as we wait for both these sides to make their way out into the middle, we've had a little bit of inclement weather, a little bit of rain that has swept across University Oval, but despite there being some overcast and grey skies, it is looking pretty nice, the conditions here this afternoon. The main thing is that we get out and get a bit of cricket into this final here this afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jack, and good afternoon, viewers. Yeah, really exciting afternoon in prospect with two informed sides clashing for the championship, which is very prestigious for either of these clubs to lift the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. And this fixture's been given a slight lift up with the inclusion of Jason Sanger and Daniel Sams for Randwick Petersham, and also Hayden Kerr for the Sydney Sixers. Jason Sanger had a fantastic tournament with the bat in the Big Bash, scoring over 400 runs, leading run scorer for the Sydney Thunder, and really looking forward to see the way he does when he gets out there. It looks like a good deck to bat on, and Sanga's in great form.
Sydney Uni welcome Hayden Kerr back into the lineup as well, Manners. He was a real star with that incredible 98 not out to win that clash against the Adelaide Strikers to qualify for the BBL final, and he's obviously had an opportunity with New South Wales in first-class cricket with the Sheffield Shield, so he gets to come back to his alma mater, I guess you could say, Sydney University, and gets an opportunity at the top of the order. We'll probably have to wait a little bit until we see Hayden bat, but he's certainly going to have a bit of something to say with the ball, with his medium-fast seamers. It's so great, this competition, and we've spoken about it at length before, Manners, that it does give a bit of a platform for these guys that have been able to make it to that next level. But we've seen just some of the names that we've been speaking in recent weeks that have been fine performers in the grade competition. Someone like Liam Robertson, who was the match winner last week.
Yeah, you're spot on. That's the great thing about both these teams. They've got match winners up and down their lineups. Very experienced T20 teams, both of them. And as you say, they both won magnificent semi-finals to get into the final here. So, yeah, really exciting match in prospect. Nick Larkin for Sydney University. Tim Cummins, Pat Cummins' older brother, is the skipper for Sydney University. I've also heard rumours, Jack, that the IPL scouts are going to be watching this fixture because the IPL auction is this week. I believe Jason Sanger, Daniel Sams and Hayden Kerr are all in that IPL auction. So, yeah, this is a pretty, star-studded fixture and a great way to conclude the Kingsgrove Sport T20 Cup for this season, which has been thrown a lot of curveballs COVID-wise, but the players and the administrators have done a great job to get the competition away, and, great to be at University Oval for the final.
And when you look at these two sides, they're two very proud clubs since Randwick and Petersham Marrickville combined their forces and merged in 2001. Randwick Petersham have been one of the real mainstays in all formats, you must say. They won the one-day competition that we called live on KO Sports last summer. They've won this particular competition 3 times, so they know what needs to be done to come out on top and win these big games, and they've certainly done that in the lead-up. They're looking to become the first 4-time champions of the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup, where I guess you're looking at the other end of the spectrum, you're looking at the other end of the stick, and you're looking at Sydney University, a very proud club that has existed and performed very well for well over 150 years, but still looking to win and break their duck of winning their first T20 Kingsgrove Sports Championship. A little bit of nerves and maybe a little bit of pressure, but a great opportunity for them to get that duck off their back. They made the final in 2017-18, that famous year when Steve Smith was had his international ban, and he guided Sutherland all the way to the final and won the title with them in a low score at the SCG. No doubt some of those players, Liam Robertson was captain that day, they would have painful memories of that day, and they'd love to try and continue what has been such a fantastic tournament for them by taking out the title.
Yeah, exactly right. These two teams have actually played in the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup final once before, back in 2015-16. On that occasion, Randwick Petersham got the chocolates. They won by 46 runs. And I was having a look. There are actually a few players remaining from that fixture in both sides, probably half a dozen players spread across the two sides that played in the final 5 years ago. So a chance for a bit of revenge for Sydney University today. Maybe they can turn the tables on that result 5 or 6 years ago and win their first Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. So, yeah, and look, there's a lot of exciting players to watch. Really looking forward to see Anthony Sams, Daniel Sams' brother, the wicketkeeper for Randwick Petersham. He's made a scintillating century in this competition already, 115 not out. Of course, Adam Semple was the hero for Randwick in the semi-final, smashing 100 not out, his 20th first-grade 100 off just 54 balls to see Randwick through in a thriller. And then you've got the Jason Sanger, Daniel Sams, a lot of great contributors. For Sydney Uni, Liam Robinson's been the top scorer right throughout the summer, 239 runs at an average, a tick under 60 at a strike rate of over 150, so he's been in great form. But yeah, look, two really strong lineups, and it's tough to pick. I think there's going to be a lot of runs. We saw in the semi-final here that it's a tough ground to defend when batters get going. and the pitch looks good again. It looks like the ball's going to come onto the bat, short, straight boundary. So, I think you need at least 180 to really be competitive on this ground.
Yeah, and then need to bowl and field very well if you want to take out that win. As we saw last game, Parramatta probably felt pretty confident with 191 on the board, but it wasn't enough. An incredible run chase by Sydney University. These two sides were involved in the Belvedere Cup first grade action yesterday. It was a 55-run win for Randwick Petersham away from home. So they did a good job there. As we see, both the umpires making their way out to the middle. So cricket is not too far away. While for Sydney University, went down a nail-biter, a 5-run loss to Western Serbs out there at Pratton Park. So both these sides are looking to not just make themselves known in the final and try and take up some silverware today, looking to keep their seasons alive in the Belvedere Cup. Randwick Petersham currently outright third by 10 points, looking like they'll at least be in the semi-final conversation when it comes to the Belvedere Cup. And as you can hear, a roar from the Sydney University faithful as Sydney University make their way out into the middle, followed by the openers for Randwick Petersham, Camden Hawkins and the skipper, Jason Sanger. Andrew Menzel spoke about it at length. He had a superb campaign in the BBL, averaging 48 for the Sydney Thunder. And may that have been the maturity and the advancement in Jason Sanger's career that really sees him explode over these next couple of years. He's got an opportunity out in the middle with Camden Hawkins. And Sydney University, Andrew Menzel, they've got the opportunity to try and snatch a few wickets with this new ball.
That's right, and they will need a few wickets if they want to try and keep this score down. Certainly, Jason Sanger will be looking to take advantage of the first 6 overs with the field up.
Hayden Kerr's got new ball in hand, so straight into the attack is the Sydney Sixers representative that had a fine campaign for the Sixers and playing in that final against the Perth Scorchers a week and 2 days ago. And just trying to get his fielding right. So quite breezy, quite cool, it must be said. That blue sky that we had probably no more than 45 minutes ago is really dissipated, and there is clouds and pitches of grey across the skyline here at Sydney University Oval. As you can hear, a very vocal crowd, and great to see plenty of bodies making their way through the gates here this afternoon for what should be not just a fantastic atmosphere, hopefully a fantastic game between these two sides. Sydney University undefeated throughout their group games, and then disposed of Blacktown Mounties and Parramatta to get to the final. Randwick Petersham looking for their 4th title. They face up the first ball and chopped away by Hawkins. That will just settle the nerves for the young Randwick Petersham opener. And they're off and running the visitors, none for one.
So this is Hawkins' 5th game in the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup for Randwick this season. In the 4 innings so far, he scored 43 runs at an average of 14.33 with a high score of 22. Jason Sanger's only played the 3 games with a high score of 36. Of course, he spent a lot of the summer in the Sydney Thunder squad. But he's on strike now.
Kerr left arm over the wicket again and squares him up a little bit there, Sanger. Did well to steer it away down again through that gully and third man region for a single. So both the openers making positive starts here, getting off the mark off their opening deliveries.
Thank you.
So pitch looking relatively similar to what we saw roughly 10 days ago for the Thunder Conference final. And in comes Kerr once more. This atmosphere sure to lift these players, you feel. It's a real finals atmosphere, shorten the body and worked away nicely back with a square leg there by Hawkins. And the pressure not being able to be exuded so much so far here by University, and Petersham making a pretty good start of things.
Hayden Kerr for the Sydney Sixers in the Big Bash, 25 wickets at a runs per over of just 7.5 with a best bowling of 4 for 32. A real breakout summer for Hayden Kerr with the bat and ball, but still searching for his first wicket in this competition.
Kerr in, short of a length, dropped on the offside, thinks about a single, Sanger, but decides against it as rushing in is Damien Mortimer, who was certainly a focal part of that run chase victory against Parramatta on Australia Day. Certainly didn't get the plaudits that Liam Robertson got, but a really important knock by Damien Mortimer. He's an excellent groundsman. Scurries around and was in position there to cut off Jason Sanger's path to another single. First dot ball of the over and first dot ball of the innings. In comes Kerr once more. And advancing down the leg side, it ricochets off the pad and squirts around the corner. And they collect themselves a single. So dealing in singles at the moment are Randwick Petersham, none for four, pardon me. So, solid start. Wickets in hand are certainly very, very important at this stage early on. Power play can be tempting to throw the willow at absolutely everything, but if you find yourself 2 or 3 for not many, it can make things much more difficult down the track. Last ball of the over, Kerr coming in once more, short and nudged nicely to deep square leg, but gets away with no big shots coming from an over Hayden Kerr, 5 coming from it. And at the end of the first over, none for 5. Hawkins and Sanger on 2 apiece. In fact, Hawkins has moved himself to 3 and Sanger on 2. And I'd say both sides would be probably pretty pleased with that first over. Randwick Petersham just getting through unscathed manners and Sydney Uni not conceding too many.
Yeah, tidy start for Sydney University and Hayden Kerr with the ball. A bit of a Big Bash derby battle here. Hayden Kerr from the Sixers, Jason Sanger from the Thunder. You can see there the spectators spread around the lovely University Oval here. Lots of people have come in to watch the game, sitting on the hill, and there's still spectators pouring in. So it's going to be a really thrilling afternoon here from University Oval, this historic venue for this fixture. Caleb Malladay has the ball.
Malladay steaming in from the scoreboard end of the ground, pitched up and driving expansively outside the off stump is Hawkins, and it's a play and a miss, as you can hear from the echo of cheers from the must be very strong Sydney University contingent of fans that are here this afternoon.
Yeah, nice delivery there from Malladay, just shaped away from the right-hander ever so slightly. Bit of width on offer.
Malladay in, he cuts this one, he doesn't get onto it, it loops and balloons in the air as Liam Robertson chases down. They'll get 2, not convincing at all by Hawkins, but that's the name of the game in T20 cricket. Gets away with it and picks up a couple of valuable runs for the visitors. Malladay comes in. Hawkins back, cutting uppishly, gets it through the infield, racing its way along the carpet here. Slows up a touch maybe because of some of that little bit of rain that's dampened the outfield. And 2 more. So a couple of short balls. And that time Hawkins a lot more convincingly was able to forcefully cut that one away just in front of point for 2 more.
Nice bounce in this pitch so far. We see that ball bouncing quite well and Hawkins getting on top of it nicely, but ball's coming onto the bat, so this is going to be a good pitch to bat on.
Malladay in, slashes away at this, gets it through that vacant cover region. Again, it's not going to have the pace on it to get the boundary, and they race themselves for 2 more. So a hat-trick of 2s for Camden Hawkins, who's moved himself along to 9 in quick time without playing any huge or expansive shots.
So the field for Malladay, he's got 2 players back because of the power play. He's got a deep square leg and a 3rd man protecting that short boundary.
Pitches up and worked onto the onside. It's Devlin Malone, the leg spinner who's been superb in this tournament for the students. Randwick Petersham, as I was mentioning with Andrew Menzel off air before we started the broadcast, have had so much success in recent years. We talk about the 3 T20 Cup triumphs they've had. Malladay in, short, and it's slashed over the top of Tim Cummins, down to the boundary for 4. Well, they say if you're going to go at it, you need to go hard, and that's what Camden Hawkins did there. He threw the kitchen sink behind it and got a thick little edge over the top of Cummins for 4 to move himself along to 13, and a pretty good over there for Randwick Petersham. Andrew Menzel, 2 gone, none for 15.
Yeah, very good over there for Randwick Petersham. 10 runs coming off it. Hawkins throwing the bat at everything. They're testing him out upstairs with the short ball. And that one could have gone anywhere, but it's flown over the Sydney University skipper's head, Tim Cummins, who's the keeper, and down to the boundary. And you just see the lineup there: Jason Ralston, Anthony Sams, Daniel Sams' brother, then Daniel Sams, who made a scintillating 98 for the Sydney Thunder in one of their games. So he's someone to look out for.
Could he continue? And he advances, lofts this one in the air, and the first wicket of the final goes to the students. Nick Larkin, the veteran. It wasn't the easy of catches, it was dipping on him. And the big fish, Jason Sanger, has it apart. He goes for 2. A huge blow to Randwick Petersham's chances early on. They are 1 for 15.
Yes, Jason Sanger advancing down the pitch there to Hayden Kerr, trying to loft over the top. Didn't time it at all, could only spoon it to mid-off, and the skipper is dismissed for 2. He will be very frustrated at that one. But we just see the skill there of Hayden Kerr, running his fingers across the seam, beating Jason Sanger in length, and that brings Daniel Sams to the crease, batting at number 3. As I said just a moment ago, he made a brilliant 98 not out in the Big Bash for the Sydney Thunder. So he comes in good form, and he'll join Camden Hawkins.
An unfortunate, I don't know if it was a lapse of concentration or not quite had his eye in there, Jason Sanger, but he departs early and the batsman cross, so Camden Hawkins on strike now, and he clips this ball around the corner. The Sydney Uni fans can ooh all they want, but it was a convincing shot by the Randwick Petersham opener. And it brings Dan Sams on to strike. I know he has a pretty big a myriad of fans that have grown to really enjoy your style of cricket over the last couple of years. It's been noted impressively for his bowling, which has seen him represent Australia at the highest level in the T20 competitions. But he is a noted batter, and he can hit the ball a long, long ways. He's got plenty of overs. Just needs to get himself settled and try and build from there. They don't want to lose too many early on, the visitors. Kerr in, this squares him up. That's an excellent delivery. Poking away at it with Sams. He picks up a single. He's off the mark. But certainly some nerves early on for Randwick Petersham. 1 for 17 in the third over. So it's been a pretty successful power play, you'd have to say, so far for the students.
Most certainly they'll be thrilled to see the back of Jason Sanger and to have a chance to bowl to Daniel Sams early on with a new ball.
Here he comes once more, Hayden Kerr. Pitches up and dropped on the offside again. That slower ball, as Andrew Menzel was talking about a couple of minutes ago, rolling those fingers across the seam, taking the pace off it. You can't bowl up and down in the BBL and have good figures to show for it. You've got to be able to have those variation balls, and that's what we're seeing from Hayden Kerr. It's going to make it difficult for some of these first-grade players that may not have had that exposure to bowlers like this. Chris Tremaine's another one at UNSW. Dan Christian, also at UNSW, that are like that. And he tries to swing this away across on the leg side. It balloons on the off and gets away with one there, does the young opener.
Daniel Sams has played 2 games in the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup before heading off to the Big Bash this summer. High score of 92, and his strike rate in the competition, 211.
They'll take that today.
That's right.
As long as it wasn't 4 off 2, or if it's anything over 15 or 20, I'm sure they would take that. As with the Randwick Petersham fans in attendance, they're probably being drowned out at the moment. Kerr in, it's inside edged onto the pad and away on the offside. So Hayden Kerr is making the ball talk early on. 2 overs for him, 1 for 7. And it's been a nervy start, it must be said, by Randwick Petersham. Batting first, having won the toss, 1 for 17 after 3, with Camden Hawkins on 14, and Dan Sams, the new batsman, on 1.
I'm not sure. I think I heard you mention before, Jack, that Randwick Petersham are going for a hat trick of titles today. 2 years ago, they won the Belvedere Cup. Last summer, the 50-over competition, which you and I commentated on at Drummoyne Oval, where Randwick Petersham beat Sydney Cricket Club in the 50-over final. And now, third year in a row, they're in a final with a chance at silverware. And you have to say it's been a very successful club since the merger about 20 years ago, where Randwick Club and Petersham merged. Since then, they've won a lot of silverware, and not a lot of mergers work out in any sport, but in this case, it certainly benefited both clubs.
The University fans sing out in exclamation. They're very pleased with the start that their side has made in these early exchanges. We're going to see the first change of the afternoon. Dougal Holloway into the attack. Took 2 for 47 off his 4 overs against Parramatta, the tall left arm quick. And angling across Sams. Sams is going to shoulder arms. And let that one go through to Tim Cummins behind the stumps.
Yeah, Holloway is the leading wicket taker for Sydney University in this competition this summer. 12 wickets at an average of 12.17, a best bowling of 5 for 24. His economy rate is very good at 7.3. Taking wickets and keeping the runs down, it's a good combination. That's why they're undefeated.
Holloway charges in short, and this ball ballooned up in the air. It lands in no man's land. Sams was almost forlorn as he crouched himself over his bat.
Well, I think that's hit him
what
in
have I
the
done?
mid-riff there. He's hit midships there, Sams. Joe Root style, he's copped another one. And he's just sucking in the big ones. Daniel Sams comes back from the Big Bash to play in the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup and gets clocked. Third ball in the groin.
Yeah, well, that's the old fast bowling trick, the 1-2 punch. You soften them up. Holloway in and forward and defending is Sams. This has been a really inspired start by Dougal Holloway. Might see him with the bat a little bit later this afternoon. Has been used as a bit of a pinch hitter for the students, but it's his bowling, as Andrew Menzel mentioned just before, that has got tongues wagging. Was certainly taken to by Parramatta in the last game, but still finished with 2 wickets from his 4 overs. Took 5 for 24 against Blacktown earlier in the season as well, so he knows how to get a big clump of wickets. Into Sams, and Sams looks to slap across the line, and it's a swing and a miss. 4 dot balls in succession.
Wow, this has been a fantastic start by Sydney University. They've been spot on with the ball at both ends, and Randwick Petersham are struggling to get away here in the power play. When we were here for the preliminary finals, a lot of runs scored in the first 6 overs, and I feel that if Sydney University can win this power play, that'll set them up nicely for the rest of the afternoon.
I think that's what Dan Sams knows as well. He knows that the field is up, and if he can get one in the slot, he slaps that over that mid-wicket region. It's going to be more than likely 4. It's going to be at least 2. There's runs on offer, but an element of risk as well.
They've just pushed long on back now, so look out.
Oh, and Sams almost like a baseballer there, looking to smack the ball out of the park. Again, isn't able to connect, still trying to get that hand-eye coordination clicking along. Hasn't happened so far, still looking for their first boundary. Randwick Petersham with 1 ball left in the 4th over.
5 balls, no runs could be a maiden, which is
unheard of,
rare occurrence in T20 cricket at any level. But yeah, so the Tim Cummins has dropped mid-on back to long on, still deep square leg, no one else on the boundary. Just trying to plug that gap if Sams does try to hit straight.
Holloway in, slapped, and they might get a single here, they will. So they deny Holloway the opportunity of a maiden, but it's an excellent over by the tall left arm quick. Just 1 from it. Sams is able to pick himself up a single. He moves himself along to 2, and it is not the dream start that I'm sure Randwick Petersham would have identified when they won the toss. They won for 18 after 4.
Yeah, if you're just turning on the television or KO freebies at the moment and tuning in, well, earlier this afternoon, Randwick Petersham won the toss and elected to bat first. Jason Sanger and Daniel Sams have come back to play for Randy Peets. And Hayden Kerr is the big inclusion for Sydney University. Now, there's been a change of bowling at the grandstand end. Hayden Kerr has been taken out of the attack. And Kieran Tate, who's been included in the side, will be bowling his first over of the final.
The opportunity for Kieran. Didn't appear in the conference final, but gets a reprieve, the right-arm seamer. Let's see what he can do. He's coming over the wicket to Sams, who's driving nicely down to mid-off and picks up the single. And I think that's the key at the moment. He's looked for a couple of those big shots. They haven't come off Dan Sams. I think just trying to pick up the runs that are on offer. And sometimes just being a little bit more patient, as funny as that might sound in a 20-over fixture.
Kieran Tate has played 5 matches in this competition for Sydney Uni this summer. He's taken 7 wickets at an average of 14.43, a strike rate of an economy rate of 7.21. So good figures for him.
Hawkins back on strike. I haven't seen him for a while. The Randwick Petersham opener, as he looks to pull hard, and he does down to mid-on. He'll get a single, shy at the stumps. But Hawkins would have been comfortably home had that hit. Devlin Malone doing the fielding. We'll no doubt see a fair bit of Devlin this afternoon with the ball. Miserly economy of just 5 runs per over in this tournament. That tells you why Sydney University have been so successful. Of course, undefeated. Finished with 4 wins and a draw from their 5 pool games, and then Blacktown and Parramatta falling in the semi-finals and finals respectively. Sam's punches down to Larkin for a single. Nick Larkin doing the fielding there. He's been included in the ACT New South Wales Country Second 11. A host of Second 11 games be happening around the country, with first-class cricket to return imminent over the next week or so. But he's got a job to do for his side today. Plenty of people looking forward to seeing Nick Larkin with the bat in hand. And a lovely little scoop shot over the top. And that is going to go one bounce into the fence for 4. That is smart cricket there by Camden Hawkins. It was a full delivery by Tate. He didn't do a whole long. I think this might actually be 6. 4 or 6, just conferring with the fielder. And it is going to be 4. It wasn't the worst ball, and he did well to get in position and flick that one over the top minners.
Yeah, lovely little lap scoop shot, the Dill scoop. First boundary of the innings.
Yeah, and it's sorely needed for the visitors. 1 for 25 now. Hawkins now slapping nicely, but it's a good piece of fielding by Mortimer. Diving across. They're all up and about for this, the students. Getting that early wicket, but the fielders taking any opportunity they can get to try and put their handprint on the game. Tate in, it's full and it's clipped away out to the leg side. A bit of a chase out in the deep for Kerr, and it's timed and placed pretty well in the end there by Hawkins, who's playing quite a handy little innings here. He's moved himself along to 21, and that will complete Tate's first over. So 5 gone, still 1 over left in the power play, but 1 for 27 is the score, with Hawkins 21 and Daniel Sams on 4.
Yeah, Randwick Petersham have the chance to do the double over the universities in Sydney. They played New South Wales University, the Bumblebees, in the semi-final, and now they've got Sydney University in the final, the students. We just see the scorecard there. Hawkins 21 off 17. He's looked okay so far, starting to time the ball better as his innings has gone on. Daniel Sams 4 off 9, yet to get going. It's the last over of the power play. To see the hill here, beautiful ground, lots of grassy knolls to perch yourself on. All right, Daniel Sams facing Holloway. Hits high over the offside. That's gone a long way. Back. That is 6. That's gone way over the top of the cover boundary towards the cars. Jack, I hope your car's not parked over there.
It is, but there's a big 10-metre black fence that's in the way. I was more concerned for those 2 patrons over there, a guy and his girlfriend. They were very nonchalantly sitting there. And the ball, I think, only just went over their heads. An incredible strike by Dan Sams, and that shows the power and timing and what an exquisite stroke maker he is.
First 6 of the final, and hit by Daniel Sams. Holloway, what can he do? And that's a good comeback, tucking Sams up, who just squirts it to short third man for a single.
Yeah, it's a good comeback, but it's also good cricket there from Dan Sams as well, having got the 6 off the first ball of the over. Don't need to try and be a hero and hit 2 or 3 in a row. Just lent on that and just knocked it away. That's smart cricket. I think it's important for Sydney University here and for Dougal Holloway to not let this over get away. 7 from 2 isn't an ideal start, but you don't want this to be an 18 or 20 run over. This is important, these next few deliveries.
Hawkins drives to mid-on and they'll take an easy single. Randwick Petersham needed this over. They needed a big 6th over. They'd got stuck the last couple of overs. That run rate now up closer towards 6.5. I think with 3 balls left in this over, Daniel Sams will be eyeing up where he can hit another 4 or 6. There's no one in the deep on the offside. Holloway delivers. Sams just tucks it into the cover region and they stroll through for another single.
Well, I guess the advantage when you're batting on this ground is down the ground straight. The boundaries aren't that long. Your half-timer shot, the ball will either race its way to the boundary before it can sail over the rope. So that's something that the batsmen are probably going to be aware of. Squarer, especially on one side, the boundary is a fair bit longer. So even though this power play is going to be disappearing in 2 balls, there's still plenty of opportunities for Randwick Petersham to find the boundary.
Hawkins back on strike, just marking guard, waits for Holloway. The big left arm quick delivers. And Hawkins swings high towards deep mid-wicket. He split the fielders in the deep. Bounce, bounce, bounce. That is 4. Hawkins on to 26. Second boundary of the over. Randwick Petersham now 1 for 40.
Yeah, good cricket there from Caleb Hawkins. Comes forward and meets the ball and pretty much turns it into a half volley on middle and leg stump with his foot movement. And yeah, was just able to smack across the line. He got it quite high. I thought for a moment he might have been able to give a chance to the Sydney University fielders out in the deep, but not so. Another
last
boundary.
Ball of the power play. Squares up Hawkins and it just comes off the top of the bat into the offside for a single. So after 6 overs, it's a 1 for 41. Jack, I would say Sydney University slightly edged the power play there.
Yeah, I'd probably say I think that over's probably pulled it back to even. I think 7 and over from the power play is okay. Obviously, depending on what Randwick Petersham do at the latter part of the innings, but I think they needed that. Holloway going for 14. I think that is going to give a whole bunch of confidence to those 2 batsmen out in the middle. It's always a nice feeling when you can slap one over extra cover for 6 like Dan Sams did, and even Caleb Hawkins, who's been working the ball around the park nicely and being able to find a boundary. I think that was especially important as well.
You might hear a few helicopters coming through our microphones. There's some helicopters behind the grandstand.
I'm going to say Devlin Malone, the leg spinner, so he's come on fairly early, which is normally the case in T20 cricket. And I just wonder what the plan is going to be here from this Randwick Petersham side, whether they are cautious and they're happy to kind of let him dictate proceedings in the 4 overs, or whether they're keen to get after him, try and push him off his length.
Malone forces Hawkins back. Malone, so he's had a wonderful summer for Sydney University. 6 matches, 10 wickets, best bowling of 3 for 9. No.
Yeah, good bit of running there. Dan Sams getting on his bike to get back for a couple.
Yeah, Malone's had a great summer. Best bowling 3 for 9, average 13, economy rate 5.42, not even conceding a run a ball, so he's been hard to get away.
Yeah, he's been a fantastic contributor for Uni, not just in this format, but in also the longer format of the game in the Belvedere Cup. But this is probably where he's been really making his name, making it struggle for batsmen.
Delivers and Sams is back pushing into the offside.
And this will be a nice little battle for Devlin as well, because he's come up against Dan Sams, who's one of the premier stroke makers in this Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. But even when you look at the BBL, he's put together some incredible knocks there. So it's a nice little battle for him to be coming up against a first-class calibre striker of the ball.
Tosses that one up, and Malone chips it into the onside. There's 3 fielders in the deep, so an easy one for Hawkins. Yeah, Daniel Sams has turned himself into a very effective low-order hitter at all levels. He's done it in the IPL. He's done it for the Sydney Thunder. Hits down the ground. He'll get one. Good bowling from Malone. Hawkins pushes to short fine leg, and they'll just take an easy single at the end of the over. 7 runs coming from it. 1 for 48.
It's almost become tip and run with Hawkins and Sams now, which is good. They seem to have a telepathic knowledge of where each other is on the field, and where they know they can knock the ball and pick up a single. And it's good. It just puts a bit of pressure back on Sydney University. But I think they would be pretty comfortable, the students as well, with the way they've started. You bowled your first 7 overs. You're conceding less than 7 and over. Yes, there is plenty of wickets left in the shed for Randwick Petersham, but any time you can get away with that stage of the innings, to only be conceding 7, and we're inching towards the halfway mark, you're going to be pretty pleased with proceedings, I imagine.
Yeah, spot on. What do you think about runs in a final? What do you think about runs on the board in a final? Jason Sanger, when he won the toss, he thought that batting first and putting runs on the board was a good thing in a final. It certainly can put the pressure on the team batting second. Even if it's a middling total, we've seen teams choke in finals before. Yeah,
no, I still think it's important. I know it's a little bit different in the professional game, but I still think at this first grade level, I think runs on the board, anything over 140 plus, you're putting the pressure onto the other team, Manners, in my opinion.
Right, Tate switched ends. He started at the grandstand end. He's now at the oval number 2 end. And a dot ball to start. He's second over.
Yeah, I think runs on the board. And it's probably a little bit skewed by the fact that both Sydney Uni and Randwick Petersham chased down quite large totals last week. But a lot of the games that we've covered in this T20 Cup competition have been teams batting first, have been able to get to a score. If I was Randwick Petersham, if you get anything around that 145, 150 mark, it's going to be challenging. I know Sydney University have some great strikers and clean hitters of the ball, but finals are different. Coaches will try to say just treat it like any other game, but it's a completely different game. There's so much more on the line. There's an atmosphere out here this afternoon. There's pressure that gets built within each individual player. So runs on the board can sometimes make you feel a bit more comfortable.
Daniel Sams waits, and it's slashed out and just passes over the edge of Sam's bat, perilously close to a feather and a catch to Tim Cummins. Yeah, you speak about that. I think the man on strike at the moment, Daniel Sams, will have a big say when he gets the ball in hand. Such an effective T20 bowler. He can be really tough to get away, and he could have a big role to play. It's a full ball, and it's pushed into the onside to long on for a single, not timed by Daniel Sams, and that brings up the 50 for the visiting side. Randwick Petersham 1 for 50 in the 8th over. Hawkins back on strike. The diminutive opener for Randwick Petersham is 33 off 26. He's been industrious so far, busy at the crease. Waits for Tate. Swings this one into the gap, and that's 6. That's gone over the rope. Maybe not. The umpire's called 4. So
must have just bounced just before, because I was the same as you, Menas. I thought initially that it had, but I think it's just bounced inside that rope. It is the furthest point from our commentary position.
And Hawkins there, lovely timed hoik into the onside. 2 straight from Tate, and Hawkins made the most of it. Yeah, that was in the slot, and he didn't miss out. Waits again. And that's slashed at and doesn't beat Gully. And it's the end of the 8th over. It's 1 for 54. 6 runs coming off that over. So good over for Tate, despite conceding the boundary.
Yeah, Camden Hawkins has moved along. He's one of those players that if you don't keep an eye on, the score just seems to creep up over by over. Certainly not going across at a thundering run rate, but 37 off 28 is a really efficient start from him. And a little bit similar to what we saw from Ryan Hackney. I think Ryan probably went at the bowling a little bit harder in the final overs and then end up finishing on 88. But he made a similar start and put away the bad balls, ran hard between the wickets. And it's been a really important innings. I think any time as an opener you can get to 37 or out, and hopefully for the young man he can go on to much bigger and better things. But to make that kind of contribution in a final already, it's a really good start. And I think a really good foil to Dan Sams as well.
Ryan Hackney, the Parramatta opener, I think, who's been picked for the New South Wales second 11 this week.
Yeah, made 51 yesterday for Parramatta.
Malone in, and Sams hits that high now. Will this be caught? The fielder's getting under it. Huge moment in the game, and he's taken it. That is a big wicket. Malone over-pitched to Sams. He tried to put it onto the hill. He didn't time it. It came off the top of the bat, and a very smart catch by the man in the outfield. And Daniel Sams goes for 15. The big wicket taken by Devlin Malone.
Yeah, full toss there. Was probably a little bit too high to play that shot, but he was already committed, Dan Sams. And the fact of the matter is, he still hit it 3/4 of the way to the boundary. And he knew straight away. You can see there from the replay that, he knew he'd made a mistake. And it was a really good catch. That's really difficult. And it's a big moment. Congrats to Devlin Malone. That's going to please him as well. To be able to get a wicket of that magnitude. And just when it looked like Randwick Petersham were starting to kind of put the foot to the floor and starting to maybe wrestle a bit of control back, they lose a wicket. But it doesn't get any easier for Sydney University, because Anthony Sams, who plundered 49 off 33 yesterday for Randwick Petersham against Bankstown, is out in the middle, and he's someone that can cause all sorts of damage.
That's right. Kalen Malladay taking the catch there. He switched clubs in the off-season. He was playing for another club last year. Do you remember who it was? Anyway, he's now at Sydney University and taken a very important catch. Malone in again, and Hawkins plays to Malladay again. One more to the total. 2 for 55 in the 9th over. Both Jason Sanger and Daniel Sams are back in the pavilion, so Sydney University will be breathing a sigh of relief to dismiss both those
Definitely.
stars.
Wasn't Devlin Malone's best ball. It's maybe not a ball he's going to look back in great fondness, but he will look back on fondness of getting that wicket.
Ooh, that's a good delivery. He's almost beaten Anthony Sams there, and almost like a Zuta or a top spinner.
Zuta, I haven't heard that in a while, Manners.
Malone in again, and play down the grounds.
It's another one of the Manners saying for the Manners dictionary that we'll slowly put together over years of commentary.
Malone in. Hawkins laps that down, doesn't time it though, and he'll just get 1 run. 2 for 57. Brings Anthony Sams back on strike. Razzmatazz has been a season favourite of yours, hasn't it?
It has. And I was seeing if it was going to get pulled out today, and it has. So congratulations for fitting that in.
Malone, and Sams plays it back to the bowler for a dot ball. That's the end of a successful over. It's 2 for 57, and you can hear the applause from the raucous fans in our background.
Yeah, Sydney University fans are happy, and I'd say if you were to have Tim Cummins marked up, he'd probably be pretty pleased with the first 9 overs, almost through the halfway mark. Obviously, 11 overs, still a long way to go, and Randwick Petersham could certainly motor that run rate up, but keeping it at under 7 and over, at 6.33 at the moment, I think they'll be very pleased with that. And I think to an extent, last game against Parramatta, it wasn't this low, but they were keeping it around that 7.5 mark, and it was only it was probably around this time where we saw a few players come in and really wrestle control. So they probably would have learnt something from that, the Sydney University players and no doubt the bowlers. So it's important these next kind of 3 or 4 overs that they just continue to keep things in check and try and keep this run rate under wraps and keep trying to take wickets as well.
Maladay has the ball again. His first over went for 10. In he comes. Just balloons into the offside, wide of cover, and they get a single. Hawkins there, just trying to turn that into the onside, but it ended up squirting away the other way. Brings Anthony Sams onto strike.
Yeah, you need a bit of a luck in cricket, don't you? Especially if you're a batsman.
Certainly. You built a whole career on it.
Yeah. There's probably plenty of people watching that have played shots like that in park cricket, maybe even yesterday, and were dismissed.
Oh, that's a nice shot by Anthony Sams. He just rocks back to a short of the length delivery and plays it behind square on the onside for 4. Beautiful shot. His first boundary. And, yeah, Anthony Sams is on his way.
Oh, it was a magnificent shot. It just raced off the bay. Didn't try and hit it hard either. That was probably the most beautiful aspect of that shot.
Anthony Sams on strike. Full ball, and he just plays with a straight bat, and they take a single. Anthony Sams is the leading run scorer for Randy Peets in this competition. 6 matches, 205 runs at an average of a tick under 70. Tie score 115 not out. Strike rate, just a lazy 180.
I'll take that.
So as you say, you know, if Sams gets going, Randy Peets can still get this score up towards 200. And that's Hawkins at his best. Just moves across to the offside and does the scoop. No one protecting the boundary behind the wicket. And that's 4. We've seen Hawkins do that a couple of times. He's now into the 40s, 44 off 32.
Yeah, probably the best player we've seen in the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup with that shot. There's been a few different batsmen that we've seen play that ramp shot. It is a favourite of top-order batters. He certainly showed his cards early, didn't he? He shuffled across, and Maladay, I don't know whether he saw him coming, but he certainly would have seen him shuffling, but maybe it was a little bit too late. Let's see what the fast bowlers reply as this delivery.
Just tucks it to the fielder in short, and they take a single.
Yeah, this has been a good over as well. There's been a few of these overs littered in by Randwick Petersham where they've been able to get multiple boundaries. There's 11 off this over, still 1 ball to come. So it's just, yeah, it's a funny game because it just seems to be ebbing and flowing. You can't say that any side is really on top. It just, for me, seems even Stevens at the moment.
Sams is back pulling again. Same shot we saw earlier in the over, and it's a repeat. 4 more along the ground, behind square on the onside. Wasn't too short, but he just rocked back.
Yeah, it's a poor ball on Maladay, though. He's done that once already in the over, and at his pace and with the way that Anthony Sams is looking, he can't afford to drift onto that middle leg stump line, even though it wasn't that short. Did well timed and really well placed as well, though, by Anthony Sams. When you can be placing the ball like that in the early period of your innings, things are looking good, and a huge over that one for Randwick Petersham. 15 coming from it at the halfway mark. They've perched themselves to a respectable run rate.
Yeah, they were 1 for 27 after 5 overs and now 2 for 72 after 10. So they needed those good overs.
Yeah, so 45 runs for the last 5 overs. As Devlin Malone continues here. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. Live and exclusive on KO Sports. Jack Clifton is my name. Andrew Menzel alongside me in commentary. Delighted to be beaming this to your laptop or iPad or smart TV, wherever you're watching from this afternoon. Malone short and backing away and punching the ball is Hawkins, who's now just 4 runs away from a final, a 50 in a final.
I've heard whispers, Jack, that the IPL scouts are watching this game ahead of the IPL auction this week, so perhaps Ricky Ponting and some of the coaches are tuning in at the moment.
Malone in, thrown up. Sams advances, and it bobbles away from the skipper, Tim Cummins. I think he might have got a little bit of a toe end of the bat on that, perhaps Sams, but wouldn't say he's been given a life, but a bit of a half chance on Almost goes begging for the students. Malone in. Again, plenty of air. Oh, what a cotton bowled! Right out of the top draw! How big could that be in this match? Devlin Malone with superb athleticism, leaping across, plucking the ball out of the sky. Sams goes, and that is a huge blow for the visitors. 3 for 73. The Sydney Uni fans, they're up and about. They like that. Anthony Sams gone for 10. Randwick Petersham 3 for 73.
Well, what a sequence of events. Sam's missed, Tim Cummins missed a stumping chance the ball before, and then very next ball, Malone takes a great catch diving a long way to his right. We'll see the replay here. Thrown up, tempting the batter, and all he could do was just play it straight back to Malone, who jubilantly throws the ball high into the sky, and his second wicket, he's on fire. 2 for 11.
He's the destroyer today, isn't he, Devlin Malone? 2 for 11 in his third over. Just looked like he was trying to work that onto the onside. There was Anthony Sands, couldn't quite tuck it around the corner, went down the ground. It was a very good catch. And it brings another big hitter in, Adam Semple. He was the hero last game, an unbeaten 100 from 54 balls for the veteran. 5 fours and 8 sixes. Got them home with 6 balls to spare. But you would almost argue that this task for him is even sterner than that, despite coming in at 3 for 11 last game.
Not a simple task for Semple, is it, Jack?
It's not a simple task. We had to throw that pun in some stage of conversation throughout the afternoon, but really important these next couple of overs. You feel another wicket or 2 here, and Randwick Petersham could really crumble. Malone coming in to Semple, who knocks away under the offside. And I think Hawkins' innings of 46 is becoming even more valuable now.
He might play the old-fashioned anchor role in this innings. Keep the strike turning over, hit the odd boundary, and allow the stroke makers at the other end to attack the university bowlers. Because they've already lost 3 wickets. They need someone to hold it together.
Malone into Hawkins, paddles that around the corner. Oh, it was not far away for the man at short fine leg, was it? He just couldn't quite get there, and for a moment, I'm sure Devlin Malone thought he might have had a third. In the end, it's a single, and Hawkins will retain the strike. He's made a stylish 47 from 36. Unfortunately, hasn't been much support. 11 gone, 3 for 75, Randy Petersham.
Yeah, Adam Semple is the second leading run scorer for Randwick Petersham. In the 5 matches he's played, he's made 166 runs, 150 and 1 century. That famous century last week in the semi-final that had everybody talking. His 20th first grade 100. He's a veteran. He actually was one of the players that played in the Randwick Petersham Sydney University final of 5 years ago. So he's one of the few players left over from that fixture. Yeah,
that's right. Change of bowler. Dougal Holloway coming back into it. 1 run off his first, 14 from his second. So it's been a mixed afternoon for Dougal. He's got none to 15 off 2. And he's going to be bowling to Camden Hawkins. Troy Penman and Ben Trelaw, the 2 umpires out in the middle. A milestone game, no doubt, for those 2 men. As Holloway comes in, chopped away by Hawkins. He might get 2 here if he turns quickly. He does, and they will almost take 1 on the arm. Oh, he had to get on his bike, didn't he? Hawkins, he'll get 2, but it was a bit of a closer shave than he might have anticipated. The opener moves to 49 from 37. So they were 72 at the halfway mark. If they were to double that 144, it's be a challenging, be a tricky score to chase down. Probably not what Randwick Petersham want, but the fact they have lost 3 wickets, and you could probably argue 3 of their best batsmen as well. Maybe they would take a score around that region. So it all depends on this partnership. Adam Semple has been able to monster the ball to all areas of the park in recent games in this Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. Holloway into Hawkins, knocks it away, and that's a really good 50. A really wonderful 50 under pressure in a final. Doesn't get much better than that. Really great knock by Caleb Hawkins. Randwick Petersham fans getting up and applauding, and rightfully so. And good to see the Sydney Uni fans, their active support, applauding to what has been a good knock. 50 coming from just 38 deliveries. And you get the feeling that Camden Hawkins needs to go on, much like Ryan Hackney did a couple of weeks ago. He made that splendid 88. You feel a knocker 70 or 80 is probably needed by the young Randwick Petersham opener to really try and push Randwick Petersham to a really competitive score here.
Randwick Petersham do bat deep. We saw in the game we covered, the quarterfinal, Buzzard Ali came in and hit a 6 to win that game. So they've got stroke makers right down the order.
They certainly do. Holloway to Semple. Semple on the back foot and chops it down to a short gully region. Liam Robertson fielding. It's really incredible when you look at the stats of Adam Semple for this season. In all competitions and all games that he's played, he's scored 391 runs at an average of 48.6 and also taken 21 total wickets at an average of 25. And this is a guy that's inching towards his mid-30s. Just shows the credible performer, incredible athlete that he is. Huge job ahead of him, though, as he faces Dougal Holloway. And he whips this one off the toes nicely. Finds a bit of a room out there as Tate has to swing the throw in. He's got to get on his bike. Oh, he might be in trouble here. No, umpire Trelaw says not out, but he was really straining there, was the veteran. And he gets just home to pick up a couple. My co-commentator had already given him the red light. Semple moves along to 3 for 80.
I had the finger up, but I am like 50 metres away and I'm not square on it all. So I wouldn't be relying on my call. I'm sure the umpire's in a much better position than I am. Good running. They took on the fielder. We'll just see. Here's the slow motion replay.
Close.
He's
very,
safe,
very close.
Yeah. Great camera work there,
It's
boys. Safe.
Not the kind of run that you want to be doing too often, is it? Holloway into Semple, who slashes away over the top of cover. Picks out the sweeper in the deep, so a single. I guess the first aggressive shot we've seen from Semple here this afternoon. Doing okay in this over, though. Randwick Petersham, 6 have come from it thus far. These 1s and 2s become really important. At this stage of the innings, we've only got, after this, 8 overs to go. You really can't afford to be soaking up balls and soaking up dot balls. Hawkins on 50. It's been a really mature innings so far from the opening batsman. And Holloway on his pads again. He's happy just to work this one into the gap in the deep. Another single to finish the over. 7 from it. Hawkins 51, Semple 4. Randwick Petersham straining vainly to try and set Sydney University a total that might be challenging a little bit later on in the afternoon. 12 overs gone, 3 for 82.
So 8 overs left. If they score at 10 and over, that gets them above 160, which would be a very challenging total for Sydney University.
I think any time you've got Dan Sams opening the bowling for you and Jason Sanger, we can't diminish his value.
The fast leggies.
Took a couple of wickets in the Belvedere Cup yesterday. Talking of spin, there is going to be a change in the attack for Sydney University. And Ryan McElduff, the all-rounder, we haven't seen him so far today, opened the bowling against Parramatta. And he's going to get a chance with the ball. Just looking to take the pace off it a little bit.
Yeah, he's played 6 matches in this comp this year, taken 4 wickets, best bowling of 2 for 21. His economy rate is 6.92 per over, so tidy figures.
Yeah, their spin has been miserly, hasn't it? I guess when you look at the runs that have been scored, it's a lion's share of it's come off the fast bowlers.
Just if you're watching on KO, you can just see the scoreboard's frozen at the moment. So the score's actually 3 for 82, and it's the beginning of the 13th over. Hawkins will be on strike, the right-hander.
Geldof in, he advances and, oh, it's not far away. Don't think it carried in the end, but it ballooned away onto the offside and parried down by, I think it might have been Dougal Holloway there at backward point. Three for 83 now in the 13th over. McElduff is going to continue around the wicket here. He's just adjusting his field. He's got a deep mid-wicket, a deep square leg, He's got a deep cover point, a long on and a long off. And McKeldorf comes in. Simple, just not trying to knock this one down the ground, but can't beat Mortimer at short mid-wicket, who's just going to be patrolling pretty much anything hit on the onside, you feel, especially through that cow corner region. Advances and lofts this one. Has he got enough on it? Oh, yes, he has. A beautiful strike by Adam Semple. And in one ball, he's just shown how valuable he can be to this Randwick Petersham cause, using his feet nicely and lifting this one gloriously straight down the ground for 6.
That was a fine shot and sensible hitting straight. The finger spinner tossing up, and he's hit straight towards our commentary position in the grandstands.
Kelduff in once more. Semple now through the kitchen sink of that as he slapped it out to deep mid-wicket for the single. He's gone in. He's gone along to 11 so far. 52 for Hawkins. That run rate still just teetering above 7 and over, so if they were to keep that consistent, it would be around that 140 mark that they would finish. But they have got wickets in the shed, which is the handy thing for the visitors. Oh, he's got him. Stumped, I believe, is the call. The bails were certainly dislodged, but I think it might be going down as a caught behind chance. So, unfortunately, Hawkins' fine innings comes to an end. He's out for a well-made 52, and Randwick Petersham unfortunately lose their 4th wicket in the 13th over. Smart work by McKeldorf. Looked like it was a quicker one. Hawkins went to give himself room and feathered a little catch to Tim Cummins, who's one of the safest glovemen in this competition. And Sydney University have their 4th wicket with a score at 90.
Yeah, terrific bowling. McKeldorf saw Hawkins back away, so he followed him. He tightened up Hawkins, who all he could do was find the outside edge, who Tim Cummins, so he took the catch, the outside edge, outside leg stump. You don't see that very often, outside edge caught outside leg stump. So a fine innings from Hawkins in the final, a 50, 52 off 41.
Yeah, he's certainly laid a platform, and he's scored, out of their 90 runs, he's scored 52 of them. Only 3 of the players have reached double figures. Sam's 15, that's Daniel, and Anthony Sam's 10. But Riley Eyre comes in, batting down a fair bit lower than we've seen Riley bat in previous fixtures. Bats at 3 or 4, but obviously with Jason Sanger and Dan Sams, you're probably not going to complain if you bump down the order of the calibre of those players coming. But the all-rounder will face up here as he pushes onto the offside. Probably another good balance as well. Kind of in the mould of Caleb Hawkins. He can hit the big shot, definitely Riley Eyre, as that is the end of the over, 4 for 90. But certainly a worker in the nudger of the ball, runs well between the wickets, whereas Adam Semple's more of your stand and deliver type player that can lift the ball over the rope quite consistently.
It's a good first over from McKeldorf. 1 for 8. Took the wicket of Hawkins, and a big wicket because Randwick Petersham are just starting to get some momentum with the run rate. It's edging up towards 7. One thing that you can see on this ground is a really big over. You know, if a batter gets going, they can have overs where they score, 15, 20. And I think Randwick will need a couple of overs like that in these last 7 overs.
So in comes Hayden Curry. He's got 1 for 7 this afternoon, the left armour. And Semple pushes onto the onside and he'll collect a single. So just looking to re-establish themselves here. Randwick Petersham trying to find the gaps. Nudge the ball into areas. I think that's important. 1s and 2s very important here while you're rebuilding. Easier said than done. But if they could set themselves up nicely to maybe get 50 in that last 5 overs, Menners, you're looking around that 150 mark, which I think is a challenging score to chase down. Kerr pitches up and a little feather on that was Eyre. Oh, Eyre's going to be run out, is he? No! Oh, it was a calamity of errors from both sides of the ball there. Riley Eyre racing halfway down the wicket, and unfortunately Cummins underarm throw wasn't quite accurate enough, and he gets out of jail there, does the Randwick Petersham all-rounder.
Cummins almost had time there to take off his right glove and just toss it with the inner on, which might have made it a little more accurate. Air survives.
That would have been danger signs for Randy Petersham if they'd slipped to 5 for 91 in a final. Kerr keeping the pressure on from the scoreboard end. Short outside off stump and angle down to third man. Just using the pace there of the Sydney Sixers all-rounder. Charlie Dummer appreciating the support from the Sydney University faithful.
Yeah,
That's
wonderful atmosphere here at Sydney University.
So 6.5 overs left in this Randwick Petersham innings. Adam Semple, he's certainly the key. He needs to stay in for the lion's share of these overs, you'd think. And he tries to clear that front leg, gets a thick little edge. It rolls down the rope for 4. Great element of luck in that one. They say that's a number 11's cover drive. Well, I'm sure he's going to take 4 for that, Adam Semple. He's gone along to 16 from 9, and a much-needed boundary there for Randwick Petersham, 4 for 96.
Yeah, Semple looking to up the scoring rate, and all he could do was squirt it off the inside edge. No one at fine leg, and an easy boundary.
Yeah, he kept Kieran Tate interested for 95% of the chase, but was too quick for the right-arm seamer. Curtis Semple, and Semple slaps that. It was a beautiful shot, but great fielding by Devlin Malone. I think it's kind of hurt him a little bit as well. No doubt that hand's going to be stinging. That was motoring off the willow there of Adam Semple.
Yeah, he's ringing that hand, Malone. Doesn't look like it's his bowling hand.
Yeah, it was travelling. It only took 2 bounces, one off the pitch and then one off the ground. One had been hit into the turf. Worked away by air, flicked away into a little bit of a gap. They won't get 2 though. Great fielding by Kieran Tate on the boundary, and he gets the applause for his effort. And that will complete the over. 8 coming from it. 4 for 98 after 14. So
Semple's just picked up where he left off in the last game. 100 not out. He's just rocked up. Already hit 1-6.
Well, if he stays in for 3 or 4 overs out of these last 6, you feel that Randwick Petersham are going to push towards a competitive total.
I would say right now with 6 overs to go, honours are really even at the moment. Sydney University probably will be feeling slightly more comfortable, keeping the run rate to just 7 against this star-studded Randwick Petersham lineup that have made the drive over from Coogee Oval.
Still 6 wickets in the sheds for the visitors as well, so that make them feel a little bit more comfortable. Oh, big appeal for LBW. Gone! Umpire Trelaw with a slow raise of the finger. And another wicket tumbles. Riley Eyre, the all-rounder, departs for 2. Unfortunately, no one is sticking around to support Adam Semple. And Randwick Petersham slipped to 5 for 98. Ryan McKelduff with his first.
Yeah, Eyre trying to swing that away on the onside. All it could do was crash into his left leg and seemed to be pretty adjacent to me, and good bowling from McKelduff, bowling around the wicket to the left-hander, keeping a nice tight line, straightened ever so slightly, and he gets the big wicket.
Basit Ali, you mentioned him just before. He's a talented straight maker. In that game against St George that weekend it was the Basit Ali show in the first grade competition. He plundered 25 from 5 balls with 4 sixes, and then coolly and calmly smacked 13 from 3 to get Randwick Petersham over the line in the last over against St George in that conference semi-final at Coogee Oval. He's got a bit more time on his hands now and perhaps a little bit more pressure as well, but he certainly can hit the ball a long way. You've got 2 very talented stroke makers. There's a look at the bowling cards. There's still some overs up their sleeve. Hayden Kerr with 1 and Devlin Malone with 1 are probably the keys. But even Kieran Tate with 2, Holloway with 1 are others that might get a say in these final overs. Oh, and Ali doesn't take any time, and it just bounces in front of the man there and creeps its way over the rope for 4. So a bit of luck as Devon Malone came screaming in from the boundary rope, couldn't quite get to it, and yorked himself. 4 to the total, 4 to Basit Ali. And the score has now gone on to 102, the 100 up for the visitors.
Real teaser there for Malone in the outfield. That ball hit in the air towards him. He had to make the decision whether he stopped or went for it. He went for it, and it got past him for 4.
Ali taking no prisoners, is he, early on? He's coming out and he's in stick cricket mode. 5 off 2 already. So there could be some fireworks with these two, you feel. It's either going to be wickets or it's going to be runs. 103 on the board now for Randwick Petersham. So they got over that triple figure hump. That's McKelduff. Now has 2 for 13. He's doing brilliantly. Oh, and he's got 3. He has! Oh! He's got the golden hand. McKelduff has 3. And Randwick Petersham stumbling now. The danger man Semple departs for 17. And the visitors from Coogee, they're 6 for 103 now.
Really good stumping there by Tim Cummins. Semple went down the pitch, tried to hit it high and hard. In the end, it spun past the outside edge, and Tim Cummins whipped the bails off. McKelduff is in his 2nd over, and he's got his 3rd wicket, and the spinners are doing all the damage here. McKelduff has 3, Malone already has 2. They've taken 5 of the 6 wickets, and that brings Daya Singh to the crease. An experienced campaigner, often captains this side when Jason Sanger's not available, but boy, the last 3 overs have really swung this game towards Sydney University and the students.
Yeah, they look on top now, don't they? McKelduff, 3 for 13 in 10 balls. It's been some real excitement from the spin bowler for the students. Just getting the ball to turn a little bit, and Randwick Petersham obviously trying to be aggressive. They want to try and get as many runs as they can, but at the moment, 130 could potentially be out of reach if things continue the trend they have been over the last 10 or so minutes. McKelduff in on leg stump and worked onto the onside by Daya Singh. As Menas mentioned, the captain for most of the time, you feel for Randwick Petersham. Considering Jason Sanger is on first-class duty with New South Wales a lot of the time, not to mention the BBL. Oh, he's got 4! Oh, Ryan McKelduff, he can't do anything wrong. This is remarkable. Absolutely remarkable by the spin bowler. 4 for 14 in 12 balls, and Randwick Petersham are crumbling. 7 for 103 after 15 overs.
Incredible. McKelduff with his 4th wicket, 4 for 13. This is an incredible turnaround, and Randwick Petersham will just have to try and bat the overs out now, Jack. 5 overs left. They've only got 3 wickets in hand. Their run rate's under 7 and over. And they'll need to just try and nurdle the ball around for these last 30 deliveries and try and get some runs on the board. A simple catch there for the bowler. That was a gift. And he can't do anything wrong, McKelduff.
Too early on the shot there, Daya Singh. And McKelduff, he can't believe it. 4 for 13 from 2 overs. He's priming himself into potential player of the match honours if things go Sydney University's way a little bit later on this afternoon.
Ben Mitchell's a handy batter that's replaced Singh. He's averaging almost 20 in the comp with a high score of 31. There's certainly no mug with the bat. So he and Basit Ali still between them can shepherd the score to, 140, 150, Jack?
Yeah, Ben Mitchell is a top order batsman. He's probably still finding his feet a little bit in the Sydney grade cricket. He's a Poitevin Grey Shield representative of Randwick Petersham, the under-21s competition. So those stats probably don't accurately describe the kind of batsman that he is.
Tape bowl.
Oh, hold him! Oh, 4 wickets in 7 balls.
Wow, what a delivery. Basit Ali's middle stump has been knocked out of the ground, and it's 8 for 103 here in the 16th over. What a turnaround we've seen. And I think Petersham have lost 8 wickets in 4 overs. Incredible. 4 wickets.
I'll be worried if they've lost
4
8.
overs.
And I guess that's the danger, isn't it, when you have a lot of stroke makers, aggressive stroke makers, is when it comes off, you can see what happened last game where they chased down an incredible score, or earlier in the year where Dan Sams and Anthony Sams have hit big scores and they've got over 200. But on the flip side of that, when it doesn't all come off, you find yourself in this position. They were 3 for 90 and now they're 8 for 103. They've lost 5 for 13 and it's been an almighty collapse, and Sydney University well and truly on top.
That was a very good delivery by Tate. Honing in on that middle stump. Peru Gore now strides out to the crease, and what a turnaround. Look at that scorecard. It's been all Sydney University in the last few overs. And there are the figures. Wow. Ryan McKelder, 4 for 13. Gore on strike. Plays to Gully. There's confusion. There's going to be a run out. There's no one at the non-striker's end. Easy as you like for Sydney University. The player has run all the way from Gully to the non-striker's end to take off the bails, and the batters are looking at each other wondering who's going to be given out. I think Peru Gore's going to be out. He is, because the non-striker has run all the way down, and the Sydney University players are jubilant. The umpires are just conferring, yet Peru Gore, the man dismissed. Calamitous scenes here in the middle. Wicket and then a run out. Now 9 for 103. Extraordinary. The man just ran all the way from Gully to the non-striker's end and took off the bails. Incredible stuff. And now Randwick just have 1 wicket in hand. We'll see here confusion between the batters. And the fielder, Liam Robinson, a pro, didn't let the ball go, takes the bails off himself. And the students, they're marching towards the cup.
This has been an almighty collapse. I don't think I've seen anything like this before. It's incredible. It's just remarkable. They just seem to have really lost their way, Randwick Petersham, and there's been no one out in the middle that has been patient enough or has had enough class to turn the momentum around, dig their heels in and really defy Sydney University. And the students have had it all their own way. They've been very, very impressive. It's been an excellent bowling and fielding performance, but there's no excuse for this type of collapse. They were 3 for 90. They've lost 6 for 13.
Tate now to Mitchell. And that's going to be a wide.
And if I'm not mistaken, that was a team hat-trick, because there was a wicket on the last ball of McKelduff's last over, and then a wicket for Tate, and then a run out. So it's been a remarkable 3 wickets in the last 4 balls, and very disappointing for Randwick Petersham. I think even at 3 for 90, they were hoping to look around that 140 mark. This total puts a lot of pressure back on their bowling attack.
Pushed into the offside, and they'll set off for a single. Malone's going to throw. Sydney University, they're up and about, and why wouldn't you be? They've got Randwick Petersham in a tough spot to score 9 for 105. Randwick Petersham losing 6 for 13 in an extraordinary sequence of events. It's all gone pear-shaped for the Randy Pete's club. But they've got runs on the board. Here's Tate. It's played into the offside, no run. Tate back over the wicket. Ralston on strike, the number 11. Hits down the ground, doesn't time it, they'll get 1. They're surely now with 4 overs after this remaining, 24 deliveries, if they can pick up 1 a ball, just nudging into the gap, not taking many risks. That gets the total up around 130. At least it gives them something to bowl at.
They've got to bat at the overs. That's the most important thing. As you've seen here, there's already been a wide this over. They've been able to grab a single. They've just got to try and get any runs they can get and just hope their bowling attack is good enough, Manners.
Tate around the wicket, and it's squared up Mitchell, and it falls safely. The end of another extraordinary over, a wicket and a run out. The score 9 for 106.
It's just incredible. The pressure cooker environment has just been, the heat's just been turned up with this really good bowling, really good fielding, that the batsmen look nervous out there. They're not really sure where they can hit the ball. Every ball is either hitting the edge or there's a little bit of miscommunication between the batsmen in terms of running between the wickets. It's a nervy time, but they've just got to try and hold their nerve here and just get through these last 4 overs.
We're just seeing the replays of the wickets. Great stumping there by Tim Cummins. All right, the destroyer, McElduff, bowling from the grandstand end, searching for his 5th wicket. Quick single there, leg by. One more to the total, 9 for 107. It can be tough work being a finger spinner, but when it all goes right like it has today for Ryan McElduff, it's magic. 4 for 13. He's turned this match on its head. As you said, at 3 for 90, Randwick Petersham were in a good little spot there,
at least
looking to
looking
launch
towards
in the
that
last
140 mark.
Yeah. But McElduff's spell is ripped through the Randwick order, and that's a full toss down the leg side, and it's a wide.
They need a no ball here. They need to get a free hit that might just be able to boost some momentum for them and get them some valuable runs.
McElduff tosses up, and it's off the outside edge, and they'll take a single. He's bowling so well, the number 43. That was a nice ball. He actually gave it some air, tempted Mitchell, and squirted away for 1 run. A couple of 100 fans here, maybe more, watching the game. Lots of people on the hills with their picnic mats out, walking their dogs, plenty of kids. And if they're Sydney University fans, I imagine they're quite happy with proceedings at the moment. McElduff bowling around the wicket, and it's pushed down the ground for a single. Sydney University have a long and storied history of producing Test cricketers for Australia. A lot of famous cricketers have played for Sydney University. I'm reading here Stuart McGill, Kevin Peterson, Imran Khan, Greg Matthews. Back and cutting, no run.
You're missing our good friend Ed Cowan.
Well, of course, yeah. Ed Cowan. We saw him after the last game. He came in to watch this one. He might be here watching today or watching on KO. He was the last homegrown Test cricketer that this club produced. And that's the end of the over. McElduff will be wondering what's going on. He didn't get a wicket.
He's still got another over up his sleeve, though. He'd probably be secretly hoping he gets one more bite at the cherry.
9 for 110 after 17 overs. Randwick Petersham, of course, have produced plenty of Test players. Usman Khawaja, David Warner, Simon Kadich. I heard the Randwick Petersham Club president on the radio this week, Mike Whitney, talking about when he goes down to training and all these young blokes looking around going, who's this old bloke? He just tells them, Google me. Here's Kerr. Single there into the onside. And if you Google Mike Whitney, you'll see lots of things, but I remember when he batted out that famous over at the MCG in the mid-80s to hand Australia a much-needed series victory over New Zealand. I think it was Alan Border's first series victory as skipper, and Whitney with the big fist pumps at the end of that match.
I think it shows our Yeah, a different, the generational gap between us men is when I knew him first as the host of Who Dares Wins.
Hayden Kerr. That's off the inside edge. Fine legs running around. He's picked it up, and they'll just get one run. After that last run out there, a bit spooked.
Yeah.
Certainly not taking on the field. Yeah, and Mike Whitney's been hosting Sydney Weekender for, I think, almost 20 years on network television, and has just retired. He said he's having both knees done in the off-season, and he's retired from that job, and I think the sprinter's taken over. Matt Shervington. Hayden Kerr on and driven into the offside, no run. Yeah, Matt Shervington's replaced Mike Whitney, who did such a fine job for many years. We had him on the coverage last...
For the One Day Cup, yeah.
Yeah, and he was so charming. He's a great raconteur. So Randwick Petersham, very lucky to have Mike Whitney as their president.
Of course, it was just Randwick when he was representing them back in the day.
Here's Kerr. Driven down the ground, doesn't beat the field. One more to Ralston.
Yeah, you never know with these kind of totals. You look at 113 and you think that's a really paltry total, but just they've got Dan Sams. He's one of the premier BBL bowlers. He can swing the ball both ways. If they get a couple of wickets, and Sydney University aren't going to be going hell for leather, you wouldn't think, Menners. So 3 for 23 for 30 early on. Things can be a bit nerve-wracking for the students.
Kerr, and that's hit the pad. There's a big appeal. There must have been a little bit of bat in that. Mitchell trying to swing it away on the onside. Well, you're right, runs on the board in the final.
And I think if you spoke to batsmen, they'd probably prefer be chasing 150, 160, because at least they know that they pretty much have to throw the bat at the ball early on. Whereas if you're chasing 120, what do? Do you knock the ball around? Do you go aggressively in the power play?
That's a nice drive from Mitchell. I'll think about a second, but again, not taking on the field. No wickets in hand. You can tell they're desperate to bat out these overs. 4 runs coming off the 18th over. It's 9 for 114. I think that Sydney University will be happy with this lowish total.
Oh, they'll be delighted with this. They'll be over
I think
the
they're
moon.
such a confident side. As we said, they're undefeated this summer. I think they'll come out there and be positive and just try and chase it down.
Yeah, I think you need to. And I think you need to be aggressive, because if they get through that power play and they get 50 or 60, even 50, which is only a tick above 8 and over, then the victory is almost assured as we see Devlin Malone continue.
It's hit high in the air. This could be the last wicket. The field is getting under it. McKelduff takes the catch. No, it was Damien Mortimer taking the catch there. Malone gets his 3rd wicket. He has figures of 3 for 13, and Randwick have been bowled out for 114, and they haven't batted the overs, Jack.
Yeah, that's a really disappointing performance by Randwick Petersham. I think it was a fairly solid start by them. I never felt like they were on top of the Sydney University attack, but at 3 for 90, I think you expect your team to go on from there and get around that 140, 150 mark. And unfortunately, when the new men came in, they couldn't find a settled groove. And Sydney University just bowled brilliantly, fielded brilliantly, didn't really give them an inch when they were batting. And I guess the collapse of 7 for 24 is so poignant now that I guess Sydney University pretty much have one hand on that cup.
Absolutely. Hawkins batted really well, opening the batting from Randwick Petersham, 52 off 41, but he wasn't supported. The next highest score was Adam Semple with 17, then Daniel Sams with 15. As you say, they lost 7 for 24 at the end. Excellent bowling from Sydney University. Hayden Kerr, 4 overs, 1 for 19, showed all his class. Caleb Malladay, 2 overs, none for 25. Dougal Holloway, 3 overs, none for 22. Kieran Tate, 3 overs, 1 for 18. But then it was the spinners that did all the damage. Devlin Malone, 3.1 overs, 3 for 13. And Ryan McKelduff, 3 overs, 4 for 16. Between them, they took 7 wickets. Randwick Petersham slumped to all out for 114. An incredible series of events. So Sydney University need 115 for their first ever Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup victory.
Yeah, that's right. And I wonder whether there'll be a few little nerves in the change rooms. But yeah, we've got 10 minutes to, I guess, digest what's going to happen. And who knows? Cricket is a funny game. It can change on a whim. And yeah, Randy
Few early
Petersham.
wickets. Daniel Sams comes
Yeah,
out
Randy
there.
Petersham aren't out of it at all. They've got runs on the board. Hey, 115. It's not going to be as simple as ABC for Sydney Uni. And I can't wait to see what transpires in that first 15 or 20 minutes.
Alrighty, well, we'll take a quick break here. I'm Andrew Menson. I'm with Jack Clifton. It's the innings break in the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup Final. A great day for New South Wales Premier Cricket. When we return, Sydney University, led by Tim Cummins, need a 115 to lift the trophy. We'll be back shortly.
The 3 T20 Cup triumphs they've had. Maladay in, short, and it's slashed over the top of Tim Cummins, down to the boundary for 4. Could he continue? And he advances, lofts this one in the air, and the first wicket of the final goes to the students. Nick Larkin, the veteran.
That's why they're undefeated.
Holloway charges in, short, and this ball ballooned up in the air. It lands in no man's land. Sams was almost forlorn.
That's why they're undefeated.
Holloway charges in, short, and this ball ballooned up in the air. It lands in no man's land. Sams was almost forlorn. Plenty of people looking forward to seeing Nick Larkin with the bat in hand. And a lovely little scoop shot over the top. And that is going to go one bounce into the fence for 4. That is...
All right, Daniel Sams facing Holloway. Hits high over the offside. That's gone a long way. Back, back. That is 6. All right, Daniel Sams facing Holloway. Hits high over the offside. That's gone a long way. Back. That is 6. Holloway, the big left arm quick delivers. And Hawkins swings high towards deep mid-wicket. He split the fielders in the deep. Bounce. That is 4. Hawkins onto 20. Industrious so far. Busy at the crease. Waits for Tate. Swings this one into the gap. And that's 6. That's gone over the rope. Maybe not. The umpire's called 4. Second 11 this week.
Yeah, made 51 yesterday for Parramatta.
Malone in, and Sams hits that high now. Will this be caught? The fielder's getting under it. Huge moment in the game, and he's taken it. That is a big wicket. Malone over pitch to Sams. He tried to put it onto the hill. He didn't time it. Came off the top of the bat. And a very smart catch by the man in the outfield. Second 11 this week.
Yeah, made 51 yesterday for Parramatta.
Malone in, and Sams hits that high now. Will this be caught? The fielder's getting under it. Huge moment in the game, and he's taken it. That is a big wicket. Malone over pitch to Sams. He tried to put it onto the hill. He didn't time it. Came off the top of the bat. And a very smart catch by the man in the outfield. Randy Peets can still get this score up towards 200. And that's Malone. That's Hawkins at his best. Just moves across to the offside and does the scoop. Randy Peets can still get this score up towards 200. And that's Malone. That's Hawkins at his best. Just moves across to the offside and does the scoop.
He seems even Stevens at the moment.
Sams is back pulling again. Same shot we saw earlier in the over, and it's a repeat. 4 more along the ground.
But a bit of a half chance. Almost goes begging for the students. Malone in. Again, plenty of air. Oh, what a cotton bowled! Right out of the top draw! How big could that be in this match? A bit of a half chance. Almost goes begging for the students. Malone in. Again, plenty of air. Oh, what a cotton bowled! Right out of the top draw! How big could that be in this match? Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. Holloway into Hawkins, knocks it away, and that's a really good 50. A really wonderful 50 under pressure in a final. Doesn't get much better than that. Really great knock by Caleb Hawkins. Randwick Petersham fans getting up and applauding, and rightfully so. And good to see the Sydney Uni fans, their active support, applauding to what has been a good knock. 50 coming from just 38 deliveries as he faces Do-Good Holloway. And he whips this one off the toes nicely. Finds a bit of a room out there as Tate has to swing the throw in. He's got to get on his bike. Oh, he might be in trouble here. No umpire trouble, especially through that cow corner region. Advances and lofts this one. Has he got enough on it? Oh, yes, he has. A beautiful strike by Adam Semple. And in one, especially through that cow corner region. Advances and lofts this one. Has he got enough on it? Oh, yes, he has. A beautiful strike by Adam Semple. And in one finish, but they have got wickets in the shed, which is the handy thing for the visitors. Oh, he's got him. Stumped, I believe, is the call. The bails were certainly dislodged, but I think it might be going down as a caught behind finish. But they have got wickets in the shed, which is the handy thing for the visitors. Oh, he's got him. Stumped, I believe, is the call. The bails were certainly dislodged, but I think it might be going down as a caught behind 50 mark, which I think is a challenging score to chase down. Kerr pitches up, and a little feather on that. Was Errol Ayres going to be run out? Is he? No! Oh, it was a calamity of errors from both sides of the ball there. Needs to stay in for the lion's share of these overs, you'd think. And he tries to clear that front leg, gets a thick little edge. It rolls down the rope for 4. Great element of luck in that one. They say that's a number 11's cover drive. Right arm seamer. Curtis Semple, and Semple slaps that. It was a beautiful shot, but great fielding by Devlin Malone. I think it's in the sheds for the visitors as well, so make them feel a little bit more comfortable. Oh, big appeal for LBW. Gone! Umpire Trelaw with a slow raise of the finger. And it's in the sheds for the visitors as well, so make them feel a little bit more comfortable. Oh, big appeal for LBW. Gone! Umpire Trelaw with a slow raise of the finger. And away with one of others that might get a say in these final overs. Oh, and Ali doesn't take any time, and it just bounces in front of the man there and creeps its way over the rope for 4. So a bit of luck as Devon. Now he's 2 for 13. He's doing brilliantly. Oh, and he's got 3. Has! Oh! He's got the golden hand. McKeldup has 3. And Randwick Petersham stumbling now. The danger man Semple departs. Now he's 2 for 13. He's doing brilliantly. Oh, and he's got 3. Has! Oh! He's got the golden hand. McKeldup has 3. And Randwick Petersham stumbling now. The danger man Semple departs. Sanger is on first class duty with New South Wales a lot of the time, not to mention the BBL. Oh, he's got 4! Oh, run McKeldup, he can't do it.
Welcome back to University Oval for the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup Final. I'm Andrew Menzel. I'm joined by Jack Clifton. Sydney University need 115 to lift the cup. Jack, we saw an extraordinary passage of play before the break with Randwick collapsing to be all out for 114.
It was a calamity, wasn't it? It was remarkable. 7 for 24 was what they lost. They were 3 for 90. We thought they might be pushing towards 140, 150, and 114 was all they could muster. And now it's Sydney University's chance. What will they do? Will they come out aggressive and really try and take a stranglehold on this run chase? And what is Jason Sanger going to do as captain to try and put pressure back on this Sydney University side? They've got a real gem in Dan Sams. They'll be hoping that he can really rip and tear and try and get into the students' middle order.
First ball of the University reply. It's a short ball and Hayden Kerr steers it into the offside for a single. He's off the mark straight away. We had some Sydney Thunder v Sydney Sixers action there. Daniel Sam, Sydney Thunder star, versus Hayden Kerr, who's made such a name for himself after an extraordinary summer in the KFC Big Bash. 25 wickets and then 98 not out after being thrust up to open the batting in basically the semi-final that saw the Sixers into the final. 98 not out against the Adelaide Strikers. It was an extraordinary innings for him, and now here he is opening the batting in this final. Charlie Dummer on strike now. Sams. It's a short ball, Dummer's back, playing in front of mid-wicket. It won't make the boundary. The fielder comes around and keeps it to 2. Dummer's back for the second. Well, I think really motor on that second run.
I think he's shown his intention, hasn't he? We wondered what the plan might be, and he's monstered that one out to deep mid-wicket for a couple. So, and like we said before when Randwick were batting, if you can find yourself none or 1 for 40 or 45 after 6 overs, you're halfway to victory pretty much.
Daniel Sams. Dummer's slashing at that one. And the fielder there at Gully stopped it. It's a little bit uppish. Now it is the power play, so just 2 fielders allowed outside the circle. So there is a deep mid-wicket on the onside, and there's a third man.
Yeah, well, Dummer's going to go at anything a little bit short and wide, it seems. That one was a little bit wide, and he certainly threw the bat at it.
Sam's in again, and another short ball and beats the bat. Not a wide, but the umpire at square leg signals that as being the 1 ball above shoulder height. But yeah, that catch to gully, I think it just fell short. So an early life for Dummer, or a half chance perhaps. Daniel Sams. Big heave-ho at that one by Dummer, and it misses everything, bat and stumps. Daniel Sams has both hands on his head. I think he's said a few words there to the batter.
More than a few words, I think. They're in quite a little dialogue there mid-pitch. I will encourage Dan Sams, I think any time as a bowler, when you've got the batsman going at 100 miles an hour at you like Charlie Dummer is, there's always that risk of them tickling one through to the keeper, one coming back onto the woodwork. But yeah, Charlie Dummer, he's throwing everything behind these shots outside the off stump.
Daniel Sams pushes to gully, no run. Daniel Sams has become one of the biggest stars in T20 cricket in this country. The end of the first over, just conceding 3 runs to start the innings off, none for 3. Yeah, Daniel Sams has come on in leaps and bounds in T20 cricket in the last few years. He's represented Australia. He's played in the IPL for the Delhi Capitals under Ricky Ponting. Quite an extraordinary rise from grade cricket to the highest level, and the IPL auction is happening this week. You might have a few more dollars in the pocket come the end of the week, Jack.
If you're running a IPL franchise, you're picking someone like Dan Sams in the draft?
Absolutely, and IPL franchises love players like Sams, quick bowlers that can also smack the ball down the order. He's one of those really highly valued overseas pros in the IPL. A lot of spinners and a lot of batters come out of India, so they don't tend to buy them in auctions as much, but they love fast bowlers and all-rounders, and Sams ticks a couple of those boxes. All right. Riley, the spinner opening the bowling from the grandstand end, the left-arm spinner, and it's pushed to mid-off by Hayden Kerr.
A little bit of advice giving from the University active support here.
There and again, tosses up, and Kerr drives in the air. There is a long on. Just one more to the total. None for 4. I wonder if Dummer or Kerr are going to take on the spinner in the first 6 overs. It's a really hard ground to defend when you start to go after the bowling with the field up. There's short, straight boundaries, a couple of also pockets around that are quite short, so going to be tough for air if they go after him. Dummer's back defending.
I reckon Dummer's going to be going after everyone, to be honest. I think, he's probably only has a few gears, and a couple of those are going after the bowling. And you get onto a couple, you hit a couple of boundaries, you float a couple over the boundary rope, and all of a sudden you're really knocking the stuffing out of Randwick Petersham.
Yeah, it's a Dummer who's down there, and it's scooped off the outside. This is a catch. Cover's going back, and he's taken it. That's the first wicket for Randwick Petersham. Charlie Dummer caught by Riley Ayre. Ayre is now the leading wicket taker for Randwick in this competition. Just went past Jason Ralston. That's his 8th wicket. And Ben Mitchell took a smart catch at cover. Well, a much-needed breakthrough for Randwick Petersham. They need early wickets to get into this contest.
And I guess that's the other side of the coin, isn't it, when you are going to go aggressive like that. He didn't quite get to the pitch of it. He was leaning out in front of him, and it looked like it took a thick outside edge and kind of ballooned. Ben Mitchell did well. In fact, he was trying to work it across onto the onside. Ben Mitchell did well. He wasn't right underneath the line of the ball, but showed some safe hands, and that's a really important breakthrough early on, and probably one that didn't really need to be gifted away in such a manner that was by Sydney Uni, but it brings another classy batsman to the crease in Nick Larkin. They've got a lot of class at the top of the order, the students, and I don't think they'll be overly concerned, but that's a real boost of confidence for Randwick Petersham, in my opinion.
Kerr on strike. Riley following up from taking the wicket and punches that nicely to cover, but doesn't beat the field. Yeah, good catch from Mitchell. They're always tough coming over your shoulder, and he did it well. Riley Ayre's just conceding 5.85 runs per over this summer in this competition, so very hard to get away. Tosses up again, and a misfield there by Daniel Sams at mid-wicket. Concedes an extra run. And the Sydney University fans have let him know about it. 1 for 5 after the second over. Good start from Randwick Petersham there. They're applying early pressure.
They might be in the Thunder Conference, but I fancy a few of these Sydney Uni fans might be Sydney Sixer fans when it comes to BBL season. They've given a little bit of stick to DR Sams here this afternoon. Looks like it's Adam Semple that's going to get a chance with the ball. The veteran quick. He got a couple of wickets against Bankstown yesterday.
So Hayden Kerr has played 3 matches this summer in the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. Scored 56 runs at an average of 19 with a strike rate of 114. Nick Larkin, who's just joined him out in the middle, he's played 3 matches. High score of 40 not out, an average of 44 with a strike rate of 138. So both these two haven't played too many matches this summer due to their other commitments.
Yeah, well, looking through the stats of Nick Larkin, he spent a fair bit of time up in Queensland playing in the Premier Cricket competition up there, scored some runs, but he's back down in the Sydney Uni colours, which they'll be happy about.
That's squirted off the inside edge by Hayden Kerr off Semple, and they get a run.
It's the kind of score they're chasing, that there isn't a whole lot of pressure on Sydney Uni. They could do that all day if they wanted. They could chip the ball around, get 5 or 6 and over and win it in the 18th or 19th over. I don't know if that's always going to be the case. I think someone like Nick Larkin is going to be cautious, but if there's a poor ball there, he's going to put it away, and he has enough class and strength in his overall game to do that.
Larkin waits, bat raised. Semple drops short, dot ball. Adam Semple has played 5 matches. He's taken 3 wickets in the competition so far. His runs per over is 8.44, so one of the more expensive Randwick Petersham bowlers. He does bowl some of the death overs though, so that can be a little bit expensive and inflate your figures.
I know I've spoken about it at length before, Menas, but such fantastic facilities here at Sydney University. We've got oval number 2 just behind where our broadcast position is.
Well, that's kept a little low, and Larkin poked at that one.
I've had the pleasure of being here quite regularly. It's almost been like a home for us. I believe this is the 3rd game that we've got to call here at University Oval, and obviously Sydney University have been in positions where they've been on KO a fair bit, but it's great facilities here, and great product of Sydney Premier, or New South Wales Premier Cricket, I should say, that we're going to see so many great players in their prime.
Semple, and Larkin's caught. Feathers one through to the keeper. Anthony Sams gleefully takes the catch. Nick Larkin is gone. He's out for a duck. Semple gets his first wicket of the final. Sydney University are 2 for 6.
Well, we said it, Menace, didn't we? We said it's not a foregone conclusion. If Randwick Petersham can get up and about and get a couple of early wickets, then they're going to feel right in this. And you could almost hear a pin drop up in our grandstand position here, because there's no noise being made by the Sydney University fans. The only noise being made is from the Randwick Petersham fans on the other side, who are starting to find their voice. So 2 early wickets, 2 quick wickets, 2 key players gone, but I'd say arguably the most key player here this afternoon is Liam Robertson. He's had such a fantastic season, a fantastic Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup season. If they saw the back of him, they would be really cock-a-hoop. But at the moment, it's a nervy start in the 3rd over, 2 for 6.
Huge partnership, Hayden Kerr and Liam Robertson. As you said, Robinson's been in great form, the leading run scorer for Sydney University in this competition. 239 runs at an average of 60 and a strike rate of 153. So he is an explosive batter. Hayden Kerr's at the non-strikers end, and Randwick Petersham, they will feel that if they can break this partnership, then they're into the middle order. Semple, full pitched, and it's driven powerfully to mid-off, and Robinson's off the mark.
And that delivery, wicket-taking delivery, Adam Semple, just shows what a class bowler he is. He gets a lot of plaudits, especially this season, for his batting, but he's still an excellent right-arm fast bowler. a little bit of width, nibbling away from Nick Larkin there and induced the edge, forced him to come forward. And no wonder that he's got well above 20 wickets in all competitions when you're bowling that kind of line of length.
Simple. Full ball and push to cover. No run. Daniel Sams is having a bit of a tough time in the field there. So after 3 overs, 2 for 7. And at the same stage, Randwick Petersham were 1 for 17. So far, Randwick Petersham are edging the comparison.
Yeah, another wicket, say, before 15 or 20. And, yeah, you would almost say they could be back to even keel. And we're going to see a little bit more of Riley Ayre. Some cricket tragics might remember Riley's name. He played a little bit of domestic one-day cricket for the Cricket Australia 11. I believe that was the 16-17 domestic summer. Where
Taxi by many. Ayre in. Beats the outside edge.
Didn't win too many games, but I'd say for the development, a lot of those young guys, they're some of the best young players that weren't playing for their states, were moulded in a team together, and Riley got some really great opportunities there.
Yeah, tosses that one up, and Robinson pushes down to long on for a single. Score now 2 for 8. If you're just tuning in, Randwick Petersham were bowled out for 114, so Sydney Uni need 115 to win this competition. Ayre to Hayden Kerr, who just plays into the offside. Sun's come out here, inner west of Sydney. Played back to the bowler, no run. Miserly stuff so far from Randwick Petersham. Loads of experience in both these teams, and we could be in for a real humdinger this afternoon. Slashed at, and that found the gap. Nice shot by Hayden Kerr there. In front of square on the offside. Jason Sanger does the chase, and he'll save 1 run. The batters have run 3. So 3 more to Hayden Kerr. Much needed runs for Sydney University. They're now 2 for 11. Last ball of the 4th over coming up. Ayre in again. Pushed into the onside. Nice stuff by Robinson. You can tell he's in good form. He's looking measured and controlled out there. Score now 2 for 12 after 4 overs.
And I think one thing that Randwick Petersham have done well, apart from taking early wickets, and probably due to taking early wickets, is they've been able to keep this run rate in check. It's not going to come down to being restricted, in my opinion. I think if they're going to win this, they're going to have to take all 10 wickets. But you've almost taken the power play out of attack for this Sydney Uni side. If they'd if they were, for example, 2 for 42 or 2 for 32 at this stage, you're really on the back foot because they're a third of the way through the runs. But the fact they've been able to keep those runs down, and probably due to the power play, Sydney Uni have thrown the bat a bit more aggressively than perhaps they may have if they weren't chasing such a small total, has led to a couple of wickets. So it's been a smart little start by the visitors, but Sydney Uni is still feel in a very strong position here, chasing such a meagre total of 115. And you wonder whether 10, 15 runs short might hurt them.
Daniel Sams back into the attack, and he's bowled him. He's knocked over Robinson. He's off stump. He's been dislodged. Terrific delivery there by Sams. Cut across the right-hander, and he gets his first wicket. Sydney Uni, wow, they're 3 for 12.
Brilliant delivery by Daniel Sams. What do they say? As a fast bowler, you want to be hitting the top of off. Well, that's exactly what he did. Only the off bail was dislodged, and he enjoyed that, Daniel Sams. And Liam Robertson, who's had such a fantastic series in this Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup, couldn't do much there. That is a magnificent ball, pitching on middle, maybe nipping away a touch, hitting the top of off stump, getting that natural angle across the right-hander. And there is silence in abundance here at University Oval because I think the fans now know that their side is in a real battle. Look at that. Dummer 2, Larkin duck, Robertson 3. probably 3 of their better batters, not including Hayden Kerr. You've got Tim Cummins coming in there, a vastly experienced player, but they have a real battle on their hands now. This is turning out to be a cracking T20 Cup final.
Cummins on strike to Sams. There's a big appeal. It's hit him on the pad. He's pleading the bowler. The umpire does not raise his fingers. It's hard to tell from our angle whether that ball pitched in line or not. But Sams is hitting the seam and troubling the Sydney Uni players. They are so disappointed they didn't get that decision. Tim Cummins is one of them better players for Sydney Uni.
Well, that would have been real danger signs, wouldn't it? To lose Tim Cummins' first ball and lose 2 wickets in the space of 2 balls. He was going back. I wonder whether it pitched outside. Leg stump, perhaps, the left arm. It's always a bit of a challenge to get LBWs.
Sams in again. He's beaten Cummins this time. If the IPL scouts are watching, they'll be impressed with what Daniel Sams is producing here. He's showing his class.
And it's not just the accuracy, it's the pace. We don't have a speed gun here, obviously, but in the BBL, he bowls regularly above 440, and that is a yard or so quicker than a lot of these first-grade players would be used to, and it can really hurry a batsman up. And Dan Sams, he's making the ball do the talking here. Only into his second over, but this is a really impressive display of bowling.
Turned onto the onside by Tim Cummins, who gets off the mark with a single. Tim Cummins, the skipper of Sydney University. He's played in 6 matches so far in this competition, scored 86 runs, highest score of 31 with a strike rate of 110.
Yeah, and they've got to be careful here, Sydney University, because there's a little bit of batting to come. Obviously, Kerr and Cummins, this partnership is, I think, maybe the most valuable in the match, potentially.
Sams to Kerr, who's beaten. This is a masterclass. This is a Daniel Sams masterclass. Sydney University cannot lay bat to ball at the moment while Sams is steaming in.
And then you've got Damien Mortimer and Ryan McKelduff. McKelduff probably hasn't spent that much time in the middle, which can be a little bit concerning, but he's certainly a classy stroke maker. But probably more in that all-rounder mould than a bona fide batsman like a Larkin or a Liam Robertson is.
Sams in again. This time Kerr defends. Well, the end of a successful over for Daniel Sams. At the end of 5 overs, the score here is 3 for 13. Sydney University need 102 more runs to win the title off 90 deliveries.
Well, even just through what we've seen so far, that required run rate has crept up a little bit, 6.8 now, because from 5 overs, they've only been able to score 13 runs, and these early wickets have really just put a big dent in perhaps the confidence of Sydney University. But the really interesting thing that I'm keeping tabs on is Jason Sanger. He's been skipper of Randwick Petersham for some time. Dan Sams is he's the cash cow for Randwick Petersham. He's the one that will make or break this game for the visitors, as we see Daya Singh getting into the attack. The bandana-wearing, talented right-arm swing bowler for Randwick Petersham. How does he manage those? Does he bowl himself a little bit later on during the day? Sydney University, they're just looking to survive at the moment. Runs probably not the foremost thing in their mind as Daya Singh charges in and punch nicely down to mid-on as Ralston does the fielding. Still haven't seen Jason Ralston this afternoon with the ball, that is. Was out there and with the bat for a good quarter of an hour.
We need a captain's knock here from Tim Cummins, and we saw Hayden Kerr in that famous match against the Strikers bat right through to the last over and steer the Sixers home. So Kerr knows how to do it.
Well, I guess, man, if you're an independent viewer, if you're a Randwick Petersham fan or Sydney Uni fan, you're probably not going to agree with me. But if you're an independent viewer, this is what you want, isn't it? You don't necessarily want to see a side romp home in 11 or 12 overs to win by 9 or 8 wickets. You want to see a battle with bat and ball, and that's what we've seen. And we've seen so many T20 games that the bat has dominated, and now we're seeing the ball dominate. 13 wickets in, 22 overs, I think. Oh, he's bowled at him! Daya Singh with a rip snort of a delivery, which comes in and knocks the top of middle stump. And Tim Cummins, the skipper, goes. And Sydney University in a world of hurt at University Oval. 4 for 13 in pursuit of 115. And this game, Andrew Menzel, has been turned on its head.
Absolutely, and that was a terrific delivery by Singh. He beat Cummins all ends up, who played down the wrong line. His footwork was a bit sluggish, and his middle stump was knocked out of the ground. We'll see here, hits the seam and just knocks middle stump out. I'm not exactly sure what line Tim Cummins was playing there, but Singh has the figures of 1 for none, every bowler's dream.
I'd just like to mention, Menace, since that 4th wicket fell when Randwick Petersham were 3 for 90, we have seen 11 wickets fall for 37 runs since that time, which is just incredible. You wouldn't think something like that would be even possible, perhaps on a green top in the north of England, let alone here.
New South Wales Shield player Curtis Patterson, and he said to me, "What's the deck like?" And I said, "It's a good deck." Maybe I've misread it.
Yeah. Well, it seemed fine up until about the 12th over, and since then it's looks like it's a sticky pitch that it's impossible to hang around on. But Damien Mortimer's the new man in. I'm sure when he saw himself down at number 6, he might have been thinking that he might be needed for the ladder overs, maybe hit the winning runs, but certainly wouldn't have anticipated being in during the power play, because that's the thing, still 4 balls remaining in the power play, but that's the furthest thing from the mind of these batsmen, as some greyish clouds seem to roll in. It'd be interesting to see what the Duckworth-Lewis par is at the moment as well, considering the loss of wickets. And Daya Singh forces Mortimer to come forward and push onto the offside. One for none for Daya Singh. He's a long-time member of this Randwick Petersham unit. One of those just really consistent performers. One of those guys that will just run through a brick wall. Never complains, just does the job that's asked of him, and that's what's happening now as he comes in to Mortimer, and Mortimer nudges onto the leg side. Sams gets a hand to it, ricochets to Ralston. No run will be taken by the Sydney University batsman.
Just a scoreboard update from the Women's Ashes that's going on in the second one-day international. England were bowled out for 129. Lise Perry taking 3 for 12. And then Australia chased it down, 5 for 131 in the 36th over. Lise Perry top scored with 40. So Australia wins the second one-dayer.
Pitched up and driven firmly down to mid-on. They'll take on Ralston, and a little bit of a misfield to get through for the single. So the first run conceded off Daya Singh's first over. Four for 14. Really, this is a remarkable final. The fact that there's been a little bit of rain around. Clouds look like they're closing in. It's getting a bit darker. It's almost as if this final is getting a little bit more ominous and a little more dramatic by the minute. Daya Singh in, and it's firmly defended. Not a whole lot of foot movement there by Hayden Kerr. Doesn't need to. You feel that he is the key moving forward. He's unbeaten on 7. A wicket and a run from Daya Singh's first over. 6 gone, Andrew Menzel. Sydney Uni 4 for 14.
Well, I love comparing the power plays, and they tell a story so far. At the same stage, Randwick Petersham were 1 for 41. Sydney Uni are 4 for 14. I'm going to say Randwick slightly edged that one.
Yeah, just by 27 runs and 3 wickets.
Interesting, Damien Mortimer, who's joined Hayden Kerr out there, is Sydney University's 3rd highest run scorer in this competition for the summer. He scored 95 runs at an average of 24 with a strike rate of 107, highest score of 43 not out. If he can get somewhere around that 43 not out here, he'll certainly be getting his team close to victory.
So another bowling change. So Jason Sang is not leaving his bowlers on for too long. We've seen Dan Sams have 2 spells of 1 over each. Adam Semple being brought into the attack, back into the attack. 1 over 1 for 2 for him. So it's not letting these university batsmen get settled against the pace and guile of this fast bowling cartel of Randwick Petersham. Semple in and on the back foot and nudging his Mortimer. Won't pick up a single. Into the 7th over of proceedings here. If you have just joined the coverage, thank you so much for joining us here this afternoon. Jack Clifton is my name, Andrew Menzel alongside me in commentary. They won the toss earlier this afternoon, Randwick Petersham. At one stage were 3 for 90 before crumbling to be all out for 114 in the 17th over. And I think most pundits around the ground, if you'd spoken to them during the innings break, probably would have identified that Sydney Uni were going to be well on their way to a Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup premiership. But as it stands, they are really firmly on the back foot. 4 for 14 in the 7th over here. And another dot ball to add to proceedings here. Wind is just picking up. It would be a real shame if rain did come, because this is an absolute cracking final, and it's not a final that you want determined by DLS. I'm sure the players would probably agree with those sentiments as well. Semple in, it's cut away, brilliantly fielded by Dyer Singh. That was travelling like a tracer bullet, and the right arm quick got down and parried it to make sure no runs added to the total.
Just saw the worm on the screen before that delivery, and boy, does it tell a story. Big difference between the two lines. Randwick Petersham dominating. Nice to get a worm on the broadcast, Jack.
I know you're a big fan of the worm.
There we go again. It's come up.
It's flatlining. Someone get the defibrillator. They need a bit of spark, the students, don't they? Here's Damien Mortimer, the one to give them that said spark. He's forward and pushing out to the offside. Oh, and Dan Sams, if only he'd sent that on strikers and Hayden Kerr. I wouldn't say he was stranded, but he was a little bit out of his ground for comfort. And this pressure is just building every ball, Andrew Menzel.
Absolutely. Sydney University are stuck here. They can't score runs. They're losing wickets. It's a really tough spot for them.
Semple, miserly figures, 1.4 overs, 1 for 2. It's almost like he's playing a second 11 match at the moment. The Randwick Petersham fans at the scoreboard end of the ground, or the University Oval number 2 end of the ground, they are in full voice at the moment, the boys. Semple flicked in the air away, so they do get a run. That does break the chain somewhat. And fielded by Puru Gore.
Have we had a boundary yet in this innings, Jack? There was the 3. Don't think we have. Can't remember one.
No, I don't think we have, which is almost unheard of, especially at this stage of the innings. One ball left in the 7th. Yeah.
I almost think it's time for Hayden Kerr to take charge here and just throw caution to the wind and think to himself, I'm going to be the hero.
He's cutting away nicely, firmly through that gap at cover point. So a couple of singles to end the over. Still, it's a very tidy one for Randwick Petersham and for Adam Semple. He's bowled 2 overs, 1 for 4. And 7 overs gone, 4 for 16. 99 is required in that pursuit of 114.
It looks like a very happy Randwick Petersham skipper, Jason Sanger. He would have been a little bit concerned when his team was bowled out for 114, but he's marshalled his troops so well in the early part of this innings. And the reward has been he's got 4 wickets. Sydney University have just scored 16 runs in 7 overs. That's right, 16 runs in 7 overs. Don't adjust your TV sets.
Well, that required run rate that we spoke about a couple of overs ago that had skipped to 6.8 has now jumped up to 7.61. So it's not just trying to keep wickets intact for Sydney Uni, it's that run rate that's creeping up, and it gets above 8. Pressure up. It really gets to you. Jason Ralston for the first time this afternoon. He's been a real performer for Randwick Petersham in this tournament. 7 T20 scalps. He took 4 for 25 or 4 overs against St George when Randwick Petersham, I wouldn't say they were down and out in that game when St George were batting, but he certainly was able to swing the momentum around. And he's actually an Australian under-19 representative. He played in that same Australian under-19 side as Jason Sanger. And unluckily for him, in a match against PNG in 2018, he took 7 for 15 and he still wasn't named player of the match. Punched nicely down the ground. They think about a single, decide against it. As Basit Ali does the field. Nathan McSweeney hit 156 in that game off 122 balls, so it's understandable. But anytime
batters usually get those awards.
Yeah, 7-15. There's not too many times that bowlers get those kind of figures in one-day cricket. And he also had a good day yesterday, Jason Ralston, as a lot of the Randwick Petersham players did in that win against Bankstown. 3 for 24 from 9 overs. Pitched up and driven firmly, a little bit uppishly, as Ali again does the fielding. And they will scamper through for a single. So it's not just one bowler that Sydney University is struggling to score against, although they have looked a touch more confident the last 5 or 6 deliveries, you'd say. Every bowler that they've come up against, they just have not been able to get the ball away, haven't been able to find the gaps. In charges Ralston. A little inside edge onto the pad, and they will get through for another single. So this is a bit better from the students. A little bit of tip and run. Try and put some pressure back onto the fielding side. Not let the bowlers and the fielders have it all their own way. Already seen a couple of misfields from Randwick Petersham in the 46 balls that have been bowled.
97 off 74 deliveries. The equation is more and more favouring the visitors, Randwick Petersham.
Ralston's short, and it's a swing and a miss outside the off stump. The slower ball there. Rolled the fingers across the seam. Very similar to what we saw in what's transpired in this game, as to when we did the one-day, limited overs one-day cup last year. A little bit different in the sense that Randwick Petersham got 205 in that day, but probably similar ilk of what 114 gets you in a T20 game. We didn't think 205 was enough against Sydney Cricket Club that had all these big hitters, and they ran through them like a hot knife through butter. It's eerily similar the way they've performed in this fixture. Knocked onto the offside, a single there. The captain, Sanger, throws it at the non-strikers, and he missed. And I think Kerr might have just been home anyway. But 3 singles off that over. They'll be pleased with that, Randwick Petersham. And Jason Ralston getting his first over out of the way without much issues. 1 over, none for 3. Kerr's moved to double figures. The first Sydney Uni batsman to reach that mark. Damien Mortimer on 3. 4 for 19 after 8.
Yeah, you are right, Jack, that this Randwick Petersham side, they've certainly won a lot of competitions in the last few years, and you can see why. They're a really effective bowling lineup. They're going for their 4th Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. Sydney University looking for their first ever T20 Cup title.
Yeah, they're almost one of those sides that they just love the real battle and these matches that there's pressure on both sides, as Dicing has changed ends, and they'll get through for a single, a leg by there for Sydney University. Yeah, they just seem to be one of those sides that when the game's in the balance, all their players are just able to step up, just go up another couple of gears. Although Sydney Uni aren't out of it. That's the thing with cricket. We said it before the innings interval. Anything can change. You have an over where students get 10 or 12, with another over where they might pick up another 8 or 10, and all of a sudden that run rate's dragged down. They're feeling a lot more comfortable about their current standing. Mortimer chips onto the leg side. No run on this occasion, as Riley Eyre does the fielding.
Yeah, you're right. Hayden Kerr is 10 off 20 deliveries. He's had plenty of time to get accustomed to the pace of the pitch and the bowling, and maybe he can now start to try and take control of this partnership with Mortimer and start to launch the much-needed counter-attack.
Because they've got to be careful. Dan Sam still has 2 overs up his sleeve, and don't want to preempt anything, but he's not the type of bowler that you're necessarily going to take to the cleaners, even if he is bowling in the death overs. Sing in, this ball hammered, lofted down the ground, all the way for 6. First maximum of the innings. Damien Mortimer says enough is enough. I'm going to take charge, and that's exactly what he does.
A beautiful lofted off drive, hitting straight and hard, and that went all the way for 6. Boy, did Sydney University need that. The umpire just checking the ball there. Remembering if the ball disappears into the crowd, I think it has to be sanitised.
Yeah, a real classical cricket shot that, advancing down the track and ended up on one knee. He's here pulling away down to Ralston, who fields well on the boundary. So a single, but it's a good over so far for the students. 8's coming from it, and Mortimer now joins Kerr on double figures. Is that the impetus that the students needed to get a bit of a roll on? Sunny
88 off 68.
Again. Seeing 1 for 8 in his second over. Comes in here to Hayden Kerr, who's back and pulling, doesn't get it right out of the screws, but lofts it over air. And Basit Ali does the fielding in the deep. And they pick up a single. So 9 from this over. It's turned out to be a very good one. 1 ball left in the 9th over. Seeing Ian Short poked away. Sanger, oh, nice piece of fielding. But he can't stop them from getting the single. A big one for the students, 10 coming from it. 4 for 29 after 9 overs, with Kerr to 11 and Damien Mortimer on 10.
10 runs coming off that over. And boy, did they need that little bump in the score. The same stage, Randwick were 2 for 57, so the comparison certainly favouring the visitors. We'll just see the scorecard there. Dumagon for 2, Larkin a duck, Liam Robinson for 3, and the last man to go, Tim Cummins, bowled by Daya Singh for 1. It's up to Kerr and Mortimer to launch a rescue mission.
Devlin Malone running some drinks for the 2 batsmen out in the middle. As the clock almost strikes 5 o'clock local time here in Sydney's inner west. Beautiful surrounds of Sydney University. A really good crowd as well. This is a really good promotion and really good advertisement for New South Wales Premier Cricket, or Sydney Grade Cricket, as it was formerly referred to. And it's a great battle out in the middle between these two sides. In comes Ralston, who's short and slashing away. Is there a feather on that? There is. And the worst possible scenario has come true for Sydney University. Damien Mortimer, who's just getting settled, rocked back to a lifting ball outside the off stump. And he feathers a little edge through to Anthony Sams, who gleefully takes it. And just when the students look like they'll turn the corner, Andrew Menzel, they slip again. 5 for 29 in the 10th over.
Yeah, Mortimer there trying to steer that one over the third man region, but the ball was too tight and there wasn't enough width, and all he could do was get a feather on it. And Anthony Sams takes a catch. Really good stuff from Randwick, Petersham and Ralston there. Good delivery, no width, and Mortimer goes just as he was starting to get going. And boy, poor Hayden Kerr, just like when he was playing for the Sydney Sixers, he's just stuck out in the middle of there all by himself. No one is lending him any support. And now the man who took 4 for 13 with the ball, Ryan McEldoff, comes to the crease, and he must have thought after his bowling performance he probably wouldn't be needed with the bat. Well, not only is he needed, but a lot of work to do, Jack.
A lot of work to do for Ryan McEldoff. Probably the last of the recognised batsmen. Dougal Holloway is a very handy lower order bat that can hit the ball a long way, but when you've got to chase down 86, it's a fair few sixes that you have to calculate into. They wouldn't want to leave Dougal with too much work. This partnership is, again, key. We keep saying that, but the partnerships, they're just not forming. Ralston with a short ball up at the rib cage there of McEldoff, who keeps it out and drops it onto the offside. After what we saw in the Thunder Conference Final, where we had close to 400 runs being scored, and when we looked at the pitch a little bit earlier this afternoon, I think myself and Andrew Menzel both thought and assumed that it might have been more of the same, but this has been a game dominated by the ball. Already 15 wickets falling in 26 overs. Chipped a little bit upishly. This is going to be a boundary and a much needed one. Glorious stroke by Ryan McKelduff. Riley Eyre up on the circle, just couldn't get there in time. And that's a really classy, confidence-boosting shot for the all-rounder. He's off the mark and races away to 4, 5 for 33.
That's a beautiful shot in any form of cricket, whether a white ball, red ball, a classical on drive from McKelduff. Just timed it beautifully, hit it to the short part of the ground and an easy boundary. There have been few and far between in this innings. So
Ralston in, pitches up, driven down the ground. They might get a single here. They all converge like bees to a honeypot, the Randwick Petersham fielders, but they can't cut it off, and it's a single.
...81 off 62 deliveries. It's the runs and balls. It's not a bad equation for Sydney Uni. It's the wickets in hand, though, that's the problem.
2 balls left in the 10th over. Ralston is on chipped away, backward a square leg. They rather nonchalantly happy just to take the single on that occasion. A little bit better this over, 6 from it. So 16 have come from the last 2 overs, although that wicket to Mortimer, again, just put Randwick Petersham back on top. Ralston has been very good as well. 1 ball left in his second over, 1 for 9. Does he have another wicket up his sleeve, perhaps? Pitches up, lofted a little bit. Sams has a shy at the non-striker's end. Wasn't too far away, just trying to keep Hayden Kerr on his toes, on dot ball to finish. So 10 gone, 5 for 35. The Sydney University run rate just 3.5 runs per over. And Andrew Menzel is going to guide you through ball by ball these next 5 overs of what is a fascinating final here at University Oval.
Absolutely. After 10 overs, Randwick Petersham were 2 for 72. Sydney Uni are 5 for 35. And those stats tell the story. But there was a massive collapse at the end of the Randwick innings. They lost 7 for 24. Ryan McKelduff has made 51 runs so far in this competition in the games preceding, at an average of 17 with a strike rate of 102. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities. Hayden Kerr on strike now. Plays back to Semple, who fields off his own bowling.
Well, Camden Hawkins, 52, that seems like it was a world ago, doesn't it, Menace? He played so classily, and there really hasn't been any batsman since him. Well, there hasn't been any batsman since him that's been able to look as accomplished and settled at the crease.
Kerr's still out there. He's opened the batting. He's 12 off 23 deliveries. Semple now. Pushed into the offside, and Kerr takes a single.
Not that I think it's going to rain, Menas, but just for reference, I can Uni 5 down, which means at the end of this over, the Duckworth-Lewis par would be 66, so they're well behind. And obviously, well, not obviously, with DLS, the more wickets you lose, the worse the situation is as a batting side. So if they were to lose another wicket before that, it jumps up to 72. So interesting to keep tabs on. As we say, we hope it doesn't play a part, but just something to be aware of. There is the radar down the bottom of your screen as well. So there is smattering of showers off the coast of Sydney as well.
Semple. Just nudged for a single by McKelduff. Smart cricket. Yeah, we just dodged a big cloud that seemed to miss the ground here, which is good. So hopefully that continues. 5 for 37. The target for victory, 115. Who wants to be the hero for either of these clubs? Hayden Kerr waits, bat raised. Just nudges into the onside. He's now on to 14. 5 for 38 in the 11th over. Jason Sanger's kept quite an aggressive field. He hasn't dropped all the fielders back. There's just 2 fielders on the offside, and now he's dropped long on back, and there's a... now he's dropping everyone back, just as I say that. So what he's done is smart captaincy. He's kept the field up early in the over to try and keep the runs down, and now that there's 2 balls left, he doesn't want to concede a boundary, so he's protecting the boundary a bit more. Astute stuff from Sanger. And that's lofted in the air. There's a man coming around, and he's taken it. McKelduff is gone. Semple gets his 2nd wicket. The man at mid-wicket moved around and took the catch. Sydney University are now 6 for 38, and in licorice all sorts, my friend.
Yeah, I don't know if you can put a whole lot of blame on the batsman. In this position, you're past the halfway mark of the innings. You can't just keep chipping away 1s and 2s and expect to be getting to the target that way. Ryan McKelduff took a chance. It didn't come off. Good bowling by Adam Semple, just putting it in that area of uncertainty where probably wasn't there to play that type of shot. He's been nagging away. He rolled the fingers across the seam. And it was a good catch as well. It was almost a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a specky, but a little bit of an AFL mark that you would normally see in the midfield for the Sydney Swans.
I think he put a bit of mayo in that one with that. I don't think he needed to jump to take that one.
I think he did. I think you like to...
I think he just knows the cameras are on this game.
You always like... That is your...
It's a TV game. I've got to make it look exciting.
Your disposition is always like that. But a good catch by Jason Ralston in the end. And Randwick Petersham, they are just not letting up. They are not relenting. Wickets have come at regular intervals. And I don't know, in this position, what do you do if you're Sydney Uni? Do you keep knocking the ball around and set yourself 5 or 6 overs to go for it? Does someone like Dougal Holloway just try and become a bit of a linchpin here and launch a couple and put the pressure back on? You're almost in between a rock and a hard place at the moment, I feel.
Yeah, they've dug themselves a deep ditch that they can't get out of at the moment. Holloway, he's played a few innings, a high score of 29 in this competition, a strike rate of 141. So he's no mug with the bat.
Yeah, well, he hit 53 or 46 yesterday against Western Suburbs, so he can play a big innings. He needs to now.
Last ball of the 11th. Bowled in! First ball. Semple has got through the defence of Holloway. That's a Yorker. Wow. Sydney University are 7 for 38. Holloway out first ball. Semple will be on a hat-trick when he comes on next to bowl. Wowee. I'm lost for words. Sydney University, 6 for 38. They're undefeated in this competition all summer, yet now they find themselves in the final and facing a heavy defeat to Randwick Petersham.
That ball had some mayo in it, didn't it? Went all the way to the boundary, even despite crashing into the stumps. Beautiful ball, full delivery at the toes. Is not what you want to be facing first up. That is a perfect Yorker in any format of cricket you play. Hitting the base of the stumps. Semple loves it. He's on fire, the veteran. 3 for 7 off 3 overs. And Sydney University now 7 for 38. And they're just in calamitous waters at the moment. This has been not necessarily an overly bad batting performance by Sydney University. It's just been a brilliant, fantastic, awesome bowling and fielding performance, as you can see by the scorecard there. It's not over yet. There's still plenty of time left in this one, but those 2 wickets are a real hammer blow and maybe even a death knell to Sydney Uni's chances of winning their first Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup.
And Jason Sanger has swung Daniel Sams around to the grandstand end. Maybe Jason Sanger wants a quick finish to this. Hayden Kerr's on strike. Daniel Sams bowling around the wicket. Slower ball, and it's pushed into the onside by Kerr. They get one. It'll bring Kayla Malladay onto strike. A dominating performance by Randwick Petersham. They're on the cusp of their 4th Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup title. It'll be their 3rd McDonald's New South Wales Premier Cricket title in 3 seasons. So they've done the hat-trick of titles. 2 years ago it was the first grade Belvedere Cup. Last summer it was the 50-over Cup. And then this summer could be the T20 Cup.
Yeah, well, they put themselves in the driving seat, haven't they? It's just a remarkable T20 Cup game. It's had everything.
Good bowling. There hasn't been a lot of bad shots. Been a couple by Sydney Uni, but generally it's just been good bowling that's got the wickets. 7 for 39.
Well, you feel in this kind of position, Hayden Kerr just has to just try and size up the bowling, and if there's something there that he feels comfortable he can go after, he has to. Yeah. He has to now. If you can kind of peter around for the next 5 overs and knock around 1s and 2s and maybe pick up the occasional 4, and yeah, you might get to 75 or 80 and make it look a bit more respectable, or you can go after him. Sam's is quick. You get anything on it, and through the infield, it's going to be 4 regardless.
Maladay waits and turns it into the onside for a single. They'll think about 2, but no risk. There is a little bit of rain coming across the ground now, very light sprinkle. Hopefully that doesn't affect the play. A few of the spectators are just looking for a bit of cover under the trees. Maybe Sydney University will be happy for the rain, but
well, no.
We saw 14 wickets for 52 runs.
Yeah, not by the Duckworth-Lewis method, they won't be. It might delay the inevitable for them, but I think the umpires will be pretty keen to stay out there. But that is remarkable figures, isn't it?
There's a shy at the stumps. That would have been out.
He's gone, yeah. I think he gave up there, Hayden Kerr. Yeah, it looks like it was just a little bit of a, couldn't even call it a passing shower. Was just a
little
passing
flurry
sprinkling.
of rain. Someone maybe turned on their sprinkler next to the ground or something. It's gone though, thank goodness. Hayden Kerr's on strike, survived that run-out chance. 7 for 42. That's right. 7 for 42, chasing 115. It's been a bowler's final. Often the T20 game is dominated by the bat, but not in this contest. Daniel Sams. Slower ball is just rolling his fingers across the seam and not allowing any pace onto the bat for Hayden Kerr, and another dot ball.
Remarkable. It's been the most remarkable game we've seen. As you've mentioned, normally T20 is dominated by the bat. A lot of the games that we've seen scores around that 150, 160, a few up around the 190 mark.
That was a short ball and Kerr was onto it, but just hits it into the deep for a single. It's 7 for 43 after 12 overs. Hayden Kerr's been there since the beginning. He's 17 not out of 29 deliveries. Now, I hope we see Adam Semple bowl because he's on a hat-trick. But it doesn't look like it will be him. I think, is Jason Ralston getting the ball? He is. So no hat-trick delivery. Randwick Petersham skipper has denied us a theatrical moment, but it's Ralston with the ball. Kayla Maladay is on strike. Maladay just waiting while Jason Sanger adjusts the field. There's 2 men on the deep on the 3 men, a long on, a mid-wicket and a deep square lead, and then a sweeper on the offside and a long off. So Sanger's got 5 men on the rope. Kerr just plays through gully, and Kerr's come back for 2. He's now on to 19. 7 for 45.
Well, he's the lone man left, isn't he, really? Maladay will try and stick around with him and try and play some expensive shots himself, but it's all Kerr, and I think Randwick Petersham know that, and now Jason Sanger does have most of his men out in the boundary, trying to restrict that big shot from Hayden.
Ralston in the air, and that's going to be 6. Over the top of Long On's head. Lovely shot by Hayden Kerr. He moves on to 25. Boy, did Sydney Uni need that one. It was in the slot from Ralston, and Kerr capitalised.
Yep, and this could be the over that maybe momentum swings a little bit. 8 have come from these first 2 balls. Kerr's pushed himself along to 25 here. He's got to keep swinging in that arc, I believe.
Ralston in again, and he's tried to play that one down to the fine leg boundary, and he's missed it. He's lucky he didn't clatter into his off stump, but it was very wide. I think he actually got a bit of glove on that one, Kerr.
Well, that's what you need to do. If he gets that right, he gets 4 for it, and all of a sudden...
he moved too early there. I think Ralston saw him, and it was too easy for the bowler to adjust. (64 off 45). That's beaten the bat. Good change of pace outside the off stump, and Kerr couldn't get anything on it. (64 off 44). I mean, Kerr could win this off his own bat. If he can get 50 of the next 64 runs. Sun's back. Here's Ralston. Pitched up and well fielded by the bowler.
Just has to stay in, that's the key, isn't it? And he needs to get a large portion of that strike. That becomes the key, I think, for Hayden Kerr and Sydney University. It would be an incredible fight back and win if that was the case. Still going to be around that 8 runs per over from for the final 7.
Ralston now, last ball of his over, and that's just chipped onto the onside. I don't think that's exactly where Kerr intended to hit it, but he'll get 1, and he'll keep the strike. 7 for 52 after 13 overs. The same stage, Randwick Petersham were 4 for 90, and this is when their collapse started, when they lost 7 for 24. Riley Ayres being brought back into the attack from the grandstand end. Very sombre tone among the Sydney University fans now, Jack. They were boisterous as the Randwick Petersham side were bowled out, but now the shoe's on the other foot. Kerr's on strike. Sanger, there's a deep square leg, a deep mid wicket, a long on, a long off, a deep cover. Will Kerr take him on? Air tosses up and chip to mid off for a single. Riley Ayres, the left arm orthodox, just adjusting his field now that Malladay's on strike. Bringing a few more fielders up, looking to keep him on strike. Air. Round the wicket. Dot ball. The Randwick Petersham coach, Bill Anderson, will be really happy with what he's seeing at the moment. And again. Ooh, he beat Malladay in flight there, but he got away with it and gets a run. Brings Hayden Kerr back onto strike. Air skips in, tosses up, and that's hit in the air, straight down the ground. Ralston, good fielding.
Simply did that. Cool as ice, didn't he? Heart would have been in the mouth if that was me, dancing around the bowling track. Adam Semple.
Air again tossed up. Malladay just plays it for a dot.
That's what they want. If they can keep Kalen Maladay on strike in the early part of his innings where he still hasn't got his timing right, placement isn't right.
Here's Riley Eyre. Oh, he's just beaten the bat there. Scoreboard's just stopped on the coverage at the moment, but the score is 7 for 55 after 14 overs.
And the good thing for Randwick Petersham throughout this tournament, and especially today, is having those experienced heads. Anthony Sams is 33 and he's been vice-captain of this side for a long time. He's filled in at skipper for a couple of times. You've got Daya Singh, who normally is captain when Jason Sanger isn't here. And then you've got Jason Sanger and Dan Sams, who have played a lot of professional cricket together, apart from one another. Dan Sams has played all over the world. So getting to play with those different types of players, when they come back to this grade level, this Premier Cricket level, it can just make teammates around them lift. But in positions like this where the game is in the balance, it's good to have some wise heads like that. So that's a real bonus for this Randwick Petersham side.
Daya Singh now on for his third over. He's got the 1 wicket so far. Kerr waits. Drives down the ground very straight. Fielder's coming around. They've blocked it and thrown it back in. 2 more to the total.
Well, it's 10 and over from here. Coming into the start of this 15th over, it's 10 and over. So 58 now required from 35 balls. So it's now or never for Sydney University. They've still got a little bit of batting to come. But as we've mentioned before, it's Hayden Kerr. He has to stay on strike. Probably has to farm the strike a little bit here and has to have a few lofty blows as well.
Daya Singh. Smacked it by Hayden Kerr, and it gets past the bowler for a single.
It plays right into the hands of Randwick Petersham. They've enjoyed having Kalen Maladay on strike. They'll be hoping they can eke out a couple of dot balls in this over.
Maladay just checking the field. 2 fielders protecting the onside boundary. 2 on the off. The rest in the ring. What could he do? Will he slash at this one? He's tried to just steer it and bottom edged it, and they scurry through for a single.
Well, that's the best thing he could have done. Hayden Kerr just needs to be on strike. It doesn't matter how he gets up the other end. Kalen Maladay, it was good work. Just used to pace the ball, just knocked it barely off the wicket square, but Hayden Kerr was certainly well aware of that and ran through for a nice quick single.
Hayden Kerr has been there since the beginning. He's seen all the carnage happen at the other end. Singh now. That's high in the air now. There's a fielder under it, but it's going to be over his head and onto the bank for 6 more. The score now 7 for 65. Does Hayden Kerr want to make himself into a hero, because he's got a chance? It's another 6.
Down to an even 50. Kerr moves to 37. That was huge, wasn't it? I think, like you, Menas, I thought for a moment the fielder at that deep mid-wicket, wide, long-on position, had an opportunity to take a catch because it went so high, but he just kept travelling and probably landed a good 8 or 10 metres over that boundary fence.
Singh, 2 balls left in his over. This is in the air now. The fielder's got a chance, and he's caught it. And that could be the title for Randwick Petersham. Hayden Kerr's gone for 37. It was left to him, and unfortunately he falls. Singh gets the big wicket. Riley Eyre, I think, took the catch down there. Sydney University, 8 for 65. Wow.
Yeah, well, it probably was in the slot to play that shot, but he just didn't quite get it, and that's the danger, isn't it? Just you can see there, hit high on the bat, maybe even ballooned up off the edge and was never going to travel the full distance. Riley Eyre enjoys it, as did Daya Singh. He's bowled really well today. It was a good innings by Hayden Kerr. He was the lone ranger, I guess, so to speak. But unfortunately, as you look through the scorecard, just no support there. To have only one other player that's made double figures is just not good enough, and they've just bowled really well, bowled in really good areas, pretty much from ball one. And there was a little bit of trepidation, I imagine, for the Randwick Petersham fans prior to that wicket of Hayden Kerr, but now I think they're going to be feeling a lot more comfortable at proceedings. And now, I guess Maladay and Malone, they've just got a free licence to throw the willow. You've got 50 that you've got to get off basically 5 overs, so let's see if they can do it.
Yeah, just 2 Sydney University batters have got into double figures. A dominating performance by Randwick Petersham. And they look to be headed towards their 4th Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup.
They've been marvellous with the ball, haven't they?
They've been marvellous all day. Singh and squirts off the outside edge, and the end of a successful over for him. The score now 8 for 66 after 15 overs.
And I guess when you look at the season for Randwick Petersham, coming into the final of the round robin games, they'd won 2, had 1 draw, a washout, and 1 defeat, and they had to win handsomely in that last game and rely on results going their way, and they were able to do that. And since then, they beat St George in that incredible last over finish. They looked all at sea against the University of New South Wales last week, or on Australia Day. They were 3 for 11, chasing 168. And even today, I think most of the conversations that we and others were having at the ground during the innings interval was, how long is it going to take Sydney U to chase down these runs? And they've bowled and fielded marvellously, and it's just been a special group of players that have been consistently putting in for one another and have defied the odds in almost every game they've played in. As the Randwick Petersham faithful applaud Riley Eyre, who's gone out into the deep there. 15 gone, 8 for 66. Maladay is going to be the man on strike. Malone, the leg spinner at the non-strikers end as Jason Ralston charges in. This ball flicked down to fine leg. 49 required off 29. So it's not outside the realms of possibility, but Maladay and Malone would have to swing heartily for the fences and hope that a couple of them came off. You feel a couple of big shots sailing into the crowd is probably what this game deserves, considering the ebbs and flows that have happened throughout the course of the afternoon. As the shadows start to slowly encompass this beautiful University Oval ground. Jason Ralston looking to capture another wicket. Pitched up and punched by Malone nicely down to long on. He's off the mark. And that's all that he will get. So a couple of singles to start. Ralston into his 4th and final over. Figures of 1 for 20.
I like Ralston's bowling action. It's a classically correct bowling action. If you look at the way he runs in and delivers the ball, fine stuff.
Pitched up and worked down the ground by Maladay once more. They don't mind this. They thought about a second initially and decided it would have been suicidal. Yeah, Randwick Petersham have no problems with the singles. It's the 4s and 6s they'll be looking to restrict. And you must say it's looking more and more unlikely that there's going to be too many of those to finish the afternoon. Game that's only had 183 runs in 30-odd overs, but has been a great spectacle. Ralston outside the off stump, lifting a little bit of play and a miss by Malone.
Tightening him up there. It's a good line and came back at the right-hander.
46 from 26. 2 balls left in Jason Ralston's spell. Very tidy figures of 1 for 21, as have all the Randwick Petersham quicks. Ralston's short and tucked away through square leg off the high portion of the bat of Malone, and will be a single. So 4 singles in this over. They're trying their utmost, this pair, but very, very hard to get Laura to players to come in and expect them to be clearing the fences from ball 1.
Yeah, it's a tough scenario. Over 10 and over required.
Ralston in short. He advances and knocks it down. There's a little bit of a mix-up between the batters, but Maladay And Malone get home safely. So 5 runs from Ralston's final over. He finishes with tidy figures of 4 overs, 1 for 23. Maladay is unbeaten on 7 with Malone on 2. 8 for 71. 16 overs gone, 44 required at 11 and over. You feel that it is petering out to a Randwick Petersham victory, which would be their 4th Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup triumph. But it just takes a couple of big strokes from this pair to maybe throw an element of doubt into the mind of the visitors.
Yeah, there's enough opportunities for big hits on this ground. There's a few small pockets, straight and mid-wicket on one side is pretty short, but they just need someone to stay out there and try and launch an assault in these last 4 overs. But it's a big task for Maladay and Malone, that's for sure. All the big names are back in the pavilion for Sydney University.
So Dyer Singh coming into his 4th over. Maladay advances and crunches towards cover. He set himself to Ralston, but the throw was offline. Maladay picks up a single, but good intent there by the Sydney University number 9, coming down the pitch and trying to give himself a platform to potentially launch over the infield. One advantage of this ground is the boundaries are quite short straight down the ground. So if you're playing straight and you middle it, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to be able to collect a 4 or a 6, as Malone is able to just knock that one down the ground for a single.
Boy, that innings from Camden Hawkins earlier on, his half-century, really does stand head and shoulders above the rest of the batters in this final. What an innings from him in a tough spot. He was industrious, inventive, a couple of nice scoop shots behind the wicket-keeper.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to chat to some of the batsmen post-game, and we might even be able to do that, just how the pitch did play for the batters. Maladay chops this one away, backing away to give himself a bit of room. But yeah, that was a fantastic innings, striking at about 120, 125 strike rate, which for today is incredible, considering very few batsmen have been able to score better than a run a ball.
41 off 21.
Bill Anderson down there on the boundary, talking to Camden Hawkins. There's a smile on his face. He's generally a pretty positive, happy person, Bill, but he'll be very happy right now as this ball slashed away. It'll be a boundary. That helps. That helps the students. Malone slashing away over the top of what would be a regulatory slips committee, and he picks up 4. So 7 from this over. Malone goes along to 7, 8 for 78, 37 from 20.
Wow, can we see a thriller here? Can Malone and Maladay just keep their team in the contest?
He do it again. Pitches up and he looks to slug that one.
He would have been out.
To the leg
He would
side.
have been run out. If that had hit, Malone had swung himself off his feet, got outside of his crease. We'll see in the replays, outside his crease. And if Anthony Sams hits there, that's a wicket.
Yeah, well, he knew it was close, Anthony Sams. The glove over the face. Maybe wishing he had that one back. He's already taken a couple of catches. We'll run out to the repertoire of Anthony Sams would have done just great for the confidence. Last ball of the over. Singh in, pitches up and it's clipped away. Dan Sams on the edge of the circle does well to keep it to 1. They get 8 from that over. It's not quite enough. It's 36 required from 18. 12 and over.
Now, Randwick Petersham all out in the 19th over. I wonder if these two can try and bat out these last 18 balls and hit a few sixes.
They're going to bring Adam Semple back into the attack.
He's on a hat-trick, Jack.
Yep.
I've only been waiting like 5 overs to say that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he's been probably waiting 20 or 25 minutes to chomp at the bit to get a chance for a hat-trick. So many options for player of the match. Adam Semple made of what now looks a very valuable 17, along with 3 for 7. If he gets another wicket or two, then he could be player of the match honours. So you mentioned Camden Hawkins with a splendid 52. He's on a hat-trick. He comes in and a swing and a miss over the leg side. He almost gave it to him. And it is a dot ball to start. But the right intent from these two batters as well, regardless of what happened the last couple of overs, they've shown the right intent. The accuracy of their efforts might not quite be their manners, but at least they're having a go.
Yeah, they're trying, and it's just unfortunate that none of the Sydney unit top order batters, apart from Hayden Kerr, could get going. And the little leggy Devlin Malone has to swing himself off his feet to try and clear the boundary.
36 from 17 now, so more than 2 runs per ball. Semple in this ball, slugged away onto the leg side, down towards the boundary, only gets 1. He hit it quite well, Devlin Malone. And they'll get through, so a little bit of a ricochet and an overthrow, and they get 2. So if they can do that for the next 16 balls, they'll be within striking distance. And they get it down to 34 from 16. Malone goes to double figures, just the 3rd Sydney Uni batsman to achieve that feat here this afternoon.
Now, I think it's Kieran Tate is the number 11. And I would think he would be a little bit nervous right now, Jack.
I agree. I think he'd be hoping that he's not needed, but that seems unlikely. As Malone goes for the big swoosh across the leg side, he can't collect the ball on this occasion. So a couple of dot balls. So Semple, the veteran, the wily, experienced campaigner, just using those slower balls, altering his pace and his length. Try and fool the much younger Devlin Malone. 34 from 15. Gee, 6 would certainly make things interesting. It's kind of what this game deserves. Semple trots his way in. And again, a slower ball. Again, a play and a miss. And he would have been in trouble. He could be in trouble and on striker's end. And Malone is run out. So there is the 9th wicket. Frustration for the Sydney Uni lower batsmen. They've been swinging for the fences, trying for their might to bridge this gap. But Adam Semple awake after the ball was thrown from the keeper's end, and Semple was in position to not quite throw the stumps down, but dislodge the bails. So a run out to add to his 3 wickets and his 17 runs. Quite the day for the veteran seam bowler. And the end is nigh for Sydney University in the 18th over, 9 for 81.
Malone throws his bat in annoyance there.
The positive, I guess, is that Kalen Maladay is on strike. And I'm sure Adam Semple would love to try and end this in these next 2 deliveries.
Well, Kieran Tate's joined him out there. It's now or never for Sydney Uni. They need to find the boundary, and plenty of them, and we can see the Randwick Petersham support now. They've come down from being perched on the hill onto the boundary. They want to support their team when they win the cup.
They've beaten them once already in the Belvedere Cup by 55 runs. They look as if they're going to do it again as this ball's knocked away onto the offside by Maladay. And a single. Semple, remarkable figures. He's now gone into double-digit runs conceded. 3 for 10 with 1 ball left in the 4th over. His 4th over, that is. He's been superb with the ball. Dan Sams has been very good as well. Even Riley Eyre at the start of the innings. And Kieran Tate on strike. Drafted into the squad for this final, and now he's got the weight of Sydney Uni's shoulders as he's here and punches the ball to the offside and picks up a single. So he picks up 1. 9 for 83. 32 required from the last 2 overs. With Maladay on 10 and Tate on 1. Semple finishes with excellent figures of 4 overs, 3 for 11 to go with a run out and also 17 runs. Yep, and I dare say that a fair few of those Randwick Petersham boys are actually on the field now. They've actually been jumping over the fence in anticipation of perhaps this ball or this over. Here's Dan Sam, so you do feel for Kieran Tate a little bit, but
And they're being pushed back behind the fence.
when will it happen? Dan Sam's, he's got 1 for 8. He charges in with a score at 9 for 83. And this ball has been slapped high in the air. Is this going to be out? There it is! Randwick Petersham are the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup champions for 2021-22. Dan Sims finishes it. Kieran Tate going for a lofty blow on the leg side. Is out for 1, and it's a comprehensive win in the end. All out for 83 Sydney Uni, and Randwick Petersham are basking in the spoils. It's their 4th Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup championship, the first side to have ever done it in the Sydney grade cricket or the New South Wales Premier Cricket scene. Dan Sams finishing it off in stylish fashion. 2 for 8 for the Sydney Thunder BBL representative. Kieran Tate, the last man out for 1, and Kalen Malladay finishes unbeaten on 10. In the end, a 31-run win for Randwick Petersham, which Andrew Menzel is almost unheard of when they lost 7 for 24 to be bundled out for 114. We didn't think it was enough. In the end, it was more than enough for the visitors from Randwick Petersham, and there's going to be some parties long into the night into Coogee and in those eastern Serbs regions of Sydney tonight. A wonderful bowling performance and a wonderful fielding performance by the visitors, who, after losing one game earlier in the season, walked the tightrope to the final and have crunched home and won in the most convincing of fashion.
An extraordinary fielding performance and bowling performance by Randwick Petersham. A paltry total of 114. They collapsed at the end of their innings, losing 7 for 24, and it looked like Sydney University had everything in their favour, and then we just saw some extraordinary bowling. Sydney University 3 for 13, 4 for 14, 5 for 35, 7 for 38, and then all out for 83. Terrific stuff. Congratulations to Randwick Petersham. It's their 3rd title in 3 seasons across New South Wales Premier Cricket, their 4th Kingsgrove Sports Cup. Jason Sang has come back from a successful Big Bash for the Sydney Thunder and led his side to victory. But congratulations to Sydney University. This was their first defeat all summer in this competition. They've had a terrific year. They'll be very disappointed to lose this final. The 2nd time they've lost a Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup final to Randwick Petersham, but they can hold their heads high. They've been terrific value all summer and just a terrific competition. And congratulations to Sydney University for competing so well. But Randwick Petersham, they were better today, weren't they, Jack?
They were just a much better side outplayed Sydney University pretty much from the first ball that Sydney University faced, and I guess their batting has been the focal point of a lot of their victories this season. They've scored over 200 once. They chased down 168 last game against the University of New South Wales, but today was most definitely their bowling and their fielding that became the focal point of that victory, and they can walk off with their heads held high. And as Andrew Menzel mentioned in commentary a little bit earlier in the coverage this afternoon, they won the Limited Overs One Day Cup last year. A season before that, they won the Belvedere Cup, the first grade men's competition, and now they've been able to take out the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. Not for the first time, I might add as well, the 4th time they've taken out this prestigious competition. A really good performance by them. Commiserations for Sydney University. You really feel for them. Undefeated through all of their games. They finished 4 wins and a draw through their pool games. They thumped Blacktown Mounties in the conference semi-final by 8 wickets, then came home in handsome fashion to win a thrilling match on the back of Liam Robertson last game at home here against the visiting Parramatta side, where they chased down close to 200. But today, unfortunately, the runs all dried over. Apart from the returning Hayden Kerr, who made a stylish 37 from 41, only 3 other players able to make double figures. Mortimer, who fell for 11, and you felt that once Mortimer fell, then it was maybe close to curtains for Randwick Petersham. Great bowling by the visitors. Semple 3 for 11 the star. Sams, miserly as always, as you would expect a first-class bowler coming back to this level of cricket to be. 2 for 8 off 3.1. And even Dyer Singh, 2 very valuable wickets for 29 off 4 overs. And Riley Eyre did his job in the team, 1 for 10. And I guess you could probably forget about how well Camden Hawkins batted earlier in the afternoon, as we see the celebration of the Randwick Petersham boys. You feel that's just the start of what could go long into the night. I feel like there might be a few sick days called in tomorrow for some of these Randwick Petersham boys. But they celebrate, they get to enjoy the riches of what has been a fantastic tournament by them, and thoroughly outplayed Sydney University today. Although at some stages this afternoon it didn't look like that after being dismissed for 114. As I was saying, Camden Hawkins seemed like an eternity ago that he was the man that had anchored the innings for a good part of the day. 52 from 43 balls from the opening batsman for Randwick Petersham. And I think if I was choosing my player of the match, he would be getting it. And there is, again, a quick recap of the scorecards. Camden Hawkins, 52. Adam Semple, a very valuable 17 from 11. And he also took 3 wickets and a run out. So some interesting decisions for the brass that no doubt will be down there. You can see Roy Formica from Cricket New South Wales down there, just getting some of the proceedings all set up and a little bit of power and different things that will be done. There is going to be a little bit of a post-match production whenever that does get ready. We'll throw down to Andrew Menzel, who's down in position shortly. But before we do that, we will just wrap up things up here. I want to say a big thanks to all of the fans and listeners and viewers that have tuned in to the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup, whether that was today for the first time or whether you were joining us in the first game at Hurst. We'll really appreciate your viewership and listenership. Also a huge help to the Sportscast production crew. I know Brendan has been working really hard down there alongside Andrew McLeish, Zach Goodchild as well, who's been really good at getting this production off the ground and making it as big and as bright as it has been. And also a huge thanks to the cameramen. Mark and G have done a wonderful job over these last couple of weeks, and we really appreciate their hard work getting all these fantastic shots as well. So I'm going to leave you be from the commentary position up here. We're going to throw down to Andrew Menzel, who's down at the commentary position down there, hoping to get a few little interviews with some of the players and get some of the post-match production that is happening down there. You can see the shiny Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup down there that is going to be handed to the winners, Randwick Petersham winners of the 4th ever Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. We're just waiting for them to get in position. As it stands, it's been a real joy to get to call and cover these games. I know we had a few returning BBL players that had come back into the reckoning today, but the real stars of these tournaments are the homegrown local grade players that toil
as part of the victorious Randwick Petersham side. Daniel, what a performance by the team. You must be really proud.
Yeah, obviously, unbelievable win. Obviously getting an underpass score. We just said at the turn, at the halfway time, just it is what it is. Now we just got to go out there and do what we do, try and take poles, and things went our way and we were able to take the wickets.
And what was the pitch like?
It was not a bad pitch. I think every time there was a little bit of inconsistency. Every time you kind of bowled quarter seam balls or wobble seams, there was a little bit in it. So they bowled quite well, and I think we learnt from what they did. Now the pitch was responding, and I think that's probably why the result's gone the way it's gone.
And just such a winning culture in this club, 3rd title in 3 seasons. You know, what's some of the ingredients that go into breeding that culture?
a good tight-knit group to start with, but I think we've just got such good balance in our team. Like, so many of the guys can bat, so many of the guys can bowl, so we've just got options everywhere. And we just talk about doing our skill for longer than the opposition, because in the end, if you're able to do your skill and execute better than the other team, obviously you're going to come out on top, and that's one of the things that we really focus on. And obviously it gets us the cookies at the end of the day.
It was great for the competition that you and Jason could come back. Was it good for you to come back and play in this big match?
Yeah, 100%. I love playing with Randwick Petersham. Any chance I get, come back and play great cricket when I can. It's just great that we could come back and all win together.
Well, congratulations and good luck with the rest of the season.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Daniel Sams there. What a culture from Randwick Petersham. Their third title in 3 seasons. And I think the presentation's just about to begin.
Brendan, do you want me to go and change that, the wide camera that's...
Tim, a disappointing loss, but still a great summer for the team in this competition.
Yeah, we've done particularly well this season, but Randy Pete's were too good today. But yeah, we've come back. We didn't actually win a game last year in the T20 comp, so it was a good season all round, but obviously we would like to win, but Randy Pete's were too good today.
Yeah, some really good bowling from your team, Malone and McKelduff taking a lot of wickets, so, big future for them. Yeah,
they're good players. I think a lot of franchise will be looking at Malone, just those leggies that hit the stumps and spin them both ways, and Duff's been really good for us all season as well.
And what about with the bat? Did things get a little bit tough out there on the pitch, or was it just good bowling from Randwick?
A bit of both. They bowled really well up front, to their credit. We lost a couple of early ones that we probably, including myself, they would have liked to have my time again, but they were too good.
Well, congratulations on a fine contribution to this competition, and good luck for the rest of the summer.
Thanks, Mendes. Cheers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me? No, come in a bit closer, boys. No, you've got to turn it on. Over. It's actually like a grandstand. Come around the front. Come around the front. Bring it in, boys. Bring it in. Turn it on, mate. It's on. Turn it on. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Twenty20 presentation for 21-22.
First and foremost, can you put your hands together for both teams? What a great game of cricket. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Graham Gorry. I'm the current chair of the Sydney Cricket Association's Committee of Management, and it's our great pleasure, or my great pleasure, to host this afternoon's presentation. Can I say this? I think the white ball will sleep very well tonight, but I think also the supporters of both teams, Sydney Uni, you are very, very vocal, and Randwick Petersham supporters very vocal again. So give yourselves a round of applause. It's always great to have this competition end at a great oval, and our thanks to the board of Sydney University, to Adam Thurbold and his board members, and also to Colin Robinson. Thank you so much for all the work that you've done in providing this ground today, and just look out there and it's just a pristine service. I'm sure the boys will tell you that the deck was pretty good as well. So with that, obviously we need to thank our groundsmen, and pass on our Colin, pass on our best wishes to the groundsmen for their great work, and I think a round of applause is due. Thank you. And obviously there are other people to thank, our scorers, to both scorers from Randwick Petersham and from Sydney University. Thank you again. Thank you for following the boys. And of course, a great thank you, and I'm sure both teams will join me in this, in thanking both the coaching staffs that have got you through to this final, and thanks to them to get you boys ready. You've got a long competition in any event, just in the normal Premier Cricket competition, but to have you ready and play a magnificent game of cricket today, I think duly should be duly acknowledged. So thanks to the coaches. And of course to the supporters, who've already acknowledged, but a game of cricket is not a game unless we have supporters, and to both sides, thank you so much. You've always got a great following of supporters, no matter where you play, and I think both sides, you go back a long way in terms of Premier grade cricket, so it's great to see that the support is still there, and this game, this format of T20 is growing, and of course you're probably aware today that this has been beamed live around the world, and we've had a lot of viewers on the screen, so it's fantastic to see that all of you can show your wares, and it's fantastic that medium is available to all of us to view if you're not here at the ground. So it's just another additive to the game of cricket. Now, in terms of presentations, if I could call on our umpires, and of course, last but not least, I've got to thank our umpires for their great management of today's game. So a round of applause for our umpires. Call upon Ben to announce the player of the match. Thank you.
Thanks, Graham. Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I'd just like to thank the SCA and Kingsgrove Sports for putting on this competition and providing the opportunities for everybody here. I'd like to thank the scorers, curators for a wonderful ground today as well, and also the Sydney Uni Club and Colin. On behalf of Troy and I, match referee Darren Gunja, I'd like to announce the Camden Hawkins. Yeah!
I love you, Camden. Yeah. Yes, Camden. Yes, coming. Let's go.
Well, those celebrations will roll on this evening. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, I should have mentioned Harry Solomon, who's our great sponsor of the Kingsgrove Sports T20 Cup. I think Harry, this is your 8th year. in the competition, and you'll see at the front some lovely checks with some lovely noughts on them. And thanks to Kingsgrove Sports for their ongoing support of this great competition. Of course, congratulations to both teams, to the winners, Randwick Petersham, to the runners-up Sydney. You've shown your wares today, boys, and yes, Randwick Petersham just got the edge, I would say. Certainly, you hold your head high. You can certainly put them to the task and make them enjoy the end. So, congratulations to both sides. Now I'd like to call upon King Cullen to say a few words on behalf of the Sydney.
Firstly, well done to Jason and Gil and Nick and Randy Beats. The two good today, been the benchmark for the last 10 years in this format, but they've pretty wide, so well done. Thanks to Boy, Harry and Trane from the SCA and Kingsgrove. Really enjoyed the format, love playing, all playing on it, so thanks for organising. Well done to the supporters on both sides, the Army for us and the Red Beats guys. It was great support today, and yeah, it evokes a lot of passion, so well done. And lastly, for our guys, it was a pretty good season. Unfortunately, the last hurdle, but Red Beats took good days and hold our heads quite high, given from where we were last year, and where we are, so well done. Cheers.
Okay, to the winners, Randwick Petersham, could I ask Jason Sanger to come up and say a few words?
I think Jimmy's pretty much summed everything up. Apologies for my voice as well, by the way. Firstly, I just want to thank the support from both sides. With you coming in today, this is new boys, we're going to be nice and loud, and we try to bring some of our own voice to try and match you guys as well. But look, coming in today, it's fantastic to see so much passion with two such fantastic clubs. So with the supporters up in the stands, to our boys on the hill, that was a fantastic game of cricket. So thanks for making an amazing atmosphere. I want to thank Sydney Uni. You guys, as Timmy said, Timmy had a nice word saying that we've been the benchmark, but you guys have been such a strong club for a long period of time, led by so many experienced players and coaching staff is fantastic as well. So to all you guys, congratulations, and hopefully you guys go on to do well, and we hope we see you again in the one-day stuff as well. So congratulations. As well, scorers, obviously Kingsgrove Sports and Harry, thanks for funding this competition and making it a success. But last but not least, I want to thank our boys and our Randy Pete's family. Honestly, lost for words. I think the way that we've been growing over time and developing as players. Not just as players, but as we will say, as people as well, has been fantastic. And that's massive thanks to, as we already know, Billy, Big Care this year as well, and everyone else on the coaching staff that give us the best chance to come in and play week in, week out, and put miles of hours into our training and making stuff like this possible. So to our boys, congratulations, but I want to make sure that we really support the guys behind us who have been helping us this whole year. So.
We hit the middle of this, so I'll ask Jason just to present him. Harry, do you want to present? No. You present that to Jason, the players' medal. And I'll ask Jason if he could just call out the players and represent their medal.
Co-captain Dan Singh.
Yeah, catch it!
Adam Semple.
My part of the presentation, I'll ask Harry to present Jason with the Kingsgrove T20 Cup, the Kingsgrove T20 flag, and the winner's cheque of $12,000.
I love you, Sussex! See you at low bar. See you at low bar. Put it all on red. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, get up, boys.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's today's T20 presentation. Thank you all for coming along and supporting the team.
Gibbs, bring it for the win! Hey, that's ready, boys. Eddie's coming. As well, just quietly. Oh, Berto.